Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 190. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and more. Today, we will talk about PlayStation State of Play, Summer Games Fest, Xbox Game Showcase, and more. But as usual, we will begin with our recent activities. Just a little quick disclaimer, we will talk about Nintendo, but the day we are recording this is literally the day before. But we'll splice it on at the end, and then we'll do the normal outro stuff at the end. But anyways, recent activities. So I am still continuing my Batman Arkham Marathon. I'm a little behind. Last time I talked about it, I talked about Arkham City. It was about 5 hours in, and now that I've fully finished it, I did what Damian told me. I got the grapnel net accelerator, whatever the fuck thing, to actually travel around with.
Yeah.
And that definitely made traversal within Batman Arkham City a lot better, but it was not necessarily like the end all be all like band-aid solution in my opinion. I still think that like the traversal is like still not as smooth as it could be. But still, overall, I think the game is still very, very good from a gameplay perspective. The free flow combat and the stealth sections are on another level. I don't know how Rocksteady were able to have so many other ideas to make the gameplay feel as seamless and as smooth as it was. The story, just to, get into more spoilers than we did before.
Yeah.
The only thing that I remember from the narrative was obviously the Joker dying. Like that's like the biggest thing within the narrative because obviously Batman doesn't kill his villains, but he didn't do it directly. He was trying to give Joker the serum and then he surprise jumped him and then he dropped the vial and he said, even after everything, I still would have cured you. And I'm like, that's fucking Batman. That's Batman right there. And, before then, like 3 other people die. You got fucking, Talia dies, Raish dies, and then freaking what's his goddamn name? Hugo Strange. Hugo Strange also dies. All 3 of them die within an hour or so. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
So the story, in my opinion, is like a little bit all over the place. I do think Hugo Strange is a very interesting villain, but I think when you have like other villains in there, like Penguin, Two-Face, and like all of these other people doing like their gang war shenanigans stuff, definitely would have been a little bit more interesting. But, I just think that it just had too many eggs in the basket for like what it was trying to do. But I think for them to get to the end point of like the Joker and like all of that stuff between him and Batman was still amazingly done. And, obviously after this is Arkham Knight, which, I'm going to get to next. But before then, WB Games released a little title called Batman Arkham Origins, which is like the forgotten stepchild of the Arkham series. They do not re-release this on modern platforms whatsoever. It is still available on PC, which probably when the next Steam sale goes on, you should probably buy it if you really want to play it, because you should not pay $20 for it. But I played it on my PlayStation 3 just because I was like, I want to play it on a console, and that's like my most readily available console from like the 7th/8th generation, because it did come out for the Wii U, which the Wii U is considered 8th gen.
I forgot.
Anyways, so jumping into this one, my memories with it, I remember playing it back on my PC all the way back in like 2014, which was not even like 6 months after it came out. And I was like, yeah, I got it on like the Steam sale and everything. And I thought it was like not that bad. I genuinely really liked it. Obviously playing it on the PS3, that version is not optimized whatsoever. The game is trying to be the greatest hits of the Batman Arkham series, but because it is a Origins game, because it is taking place literally the second year that Bruce Wayne is Batman, he has all of his upgrades. So I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like even like the grapnel accelerator, like he just has that. And I was like, oh, okay. So, gameplay wise, like it is good. It is still like very much like the same stuff that we've come to know and love, just like not the same polish as like Rocksteady has it, right? Like it's a lot more action oriented, I would say. The stealth is kind of laughable at times, especially towards the end. Like sometimes I would just go up on like a place where like they have to like climb up with a ladder, and I would just beat up the first guy. The next guy would jump up, and then I just beat him up, and then just keep doing that until the stealth section is done. And then sometimes like the AI gets all wonky, and even then like they have elements from Arkham City, like the jammers and like all of that stuff, but they don't use it like as elegantly as Rocksteady did. So, the gameplay is like not there. And like the story, there are good elements to it. Like, for example, with Alfred, he has like, this thing with Bruce where he's like, why are you going out and like doing all this shit, bro? Like, why the fuck are you, being like this mass vigilante, the Batman, if you will. And those parts
Yeah.
of the story are good. And then there's this whole thing with like Black Mass and the Joker, which I won't reveal because Damien hasn't played it yet. But you know,
Having it now, I will.
it's okay. I think that there's like a lot of stuff going on there. And then there's a certain reveal with Bane that I was like, oh, like that's like so fucking interesting. And then they like undo it at the end with like a quick like thing of dialogue. It's not even a cutscene. It's like an in-game cutscene. And it's like Bruce is like explaining it to Alfred. I was like, okay, all right, whatever. And then we kind of just move on from there. So, Arkham Origins, like overall, like it is still like a Rocksteady bootleg, but because it is like a Rocksteady Batman game, it's still like decently good. Like if I had to give it a score, which I did, it was like a 6.5 out of 10. But like if I'm rating like the PS3 version, it's like a 5 because like the fucking performance is like actually dog shit. Because when you were going through like the open world with Gotham, it is just chugging along, bro. Like it cannot stay at a stable 30. It is fucking terrible. So, if you do want to play it and you want to play it on console, play it on the Xbox 360. But like I said, the Steam sale is around the corner and it's probably going to be like $5 then. Play it on PC because I know that you could also get it up to 60 frames per second and like all of that other fancy mumbo jumbo stuff. But yeah. And also this game, the story, like it has the same problem as Arkham City where there's like too many fucking villains. So like the basic setup is that Black Mass put a bounty on Batman's head for $50 million. And there's 8 assassins that are going after his head. And some of those villains, literally Batman just punches them once and then they fucking die. And I was like, okay, cool. Like they're just out of the story for like the rest of the game. I was like, all right, cool. So, there's definitely like a lot going on. And I think it's because WB Montreal had like all of these ideas for like a very early Batman game. And they just threw it all in, which like is fair. Cause like I know that Guardians of the Galaxy, that video game also did that. That's how I felt. Like they just had all of these ideas for like a Guardians story. They just threw everything in. But because of that, the game was super duper long. And here it's just fucking messy. Like there's just so much shit going on that I'm just like, all right, cool. We're going from this villain to this villain, back to Joker, back to this villain. I'm like, all right, whatever. So, there's a reason why this game has not released on modern platforms because I think WB just wants to forget about it. And I know why they did it because they were just like, we don't want people to wait so long in between Arkham games. But at the same time, you kind of just release a product that doesn't have its own identity or a sort of strong thing to go for it. Like there are bits and pieces of it, but it's not like all there. So, I know you just played Lego Batman. If you want to play this before Arkham Knight, you can. But if you just want to jump into Arkham Knight, I don't blame you either.
Yeah, I'll probably play Origins. Usually when I play through like a whole game series, I like to like experience like all of them, no matter how bad. I mean, I played through DMC 2 when I was doing my DMC stuff, and man, DMC 2 was garbage, but I like to experience it for myself. Well, yeah, speaking of Batman, I have played Lego Batman. So instead of playing Origins, I have played Lego Batman. And this game is great, man. Like it's really good. I mean, the newer Lego games I think have been great. I mean, there's only been one other one, which is the Skywalker Saga. And I really like that game. As a kid, I was never that into the Lego games. I always thought they were like confusing and like not that fun. Like I remember when I got my 360 for the first time, it came with like Lego Indiana Jones, I believe, and like Kung Fu Panda. And I played the Lego Indiana Jones game. Like I don't get it, and then I just stopped playing it. So what I like about these new ones is like they actually feel like video games, but they're also like in the Lego like sort of universe, right? So with this game, it basically plays like Baby Arkham, right? Like the combat feels good. Like it feels like Arkham, except you have that Lego twist where you could change characters and every character has their own abilities. Unlike prior Lego games, there aren't like a billion characters. Like there's only like 7, I believe, in this game. But all of them have like unique skills and moves they could do. So they feel a bit more fleshed out. I mean, Skywalker Saga kind of did that too with the different character classes in that game. So even though there was like a bajillion characters, like all the characters kind of fit in like a few archetypes. This is kind of like the same thing, except it's like that's the character, right? And from a gameplay perspective, it's really fun. Just a really fun open world Batman game, just exactly what you expect from an Arkham game, just like in a silly Lego format. And what really surprised me was the story. Like, it has like the Lego humor and stuff, but honestly, like it tells a pretty like nice story, to be honest. It's like it just tells like it's kind of just like it isn't like parodying like one movie in particular. It's kind of just doing everything, right? You got like from like the older movies to like the Christopher Nolan trilogy, like kind of goes through all of them. And I think that's really cool. And it kind of starts from the beginning of Bruce Wayne becoming Batman all the way towards like sort of like the end point We got like the whole Bat family coming together and shit. And I think it just comes out really well. I'm like, yeah, this is a really well put together game. And I played on base PS5 and I had no performance issues. I know on PC, I think the game is a bit hard to run, but on consoles, it seems like it was running just fine. Like the game looks beautiful. It like ran perfectly. I didn't really have any like issues with like stuttering or frame dips. There are some bugs like it's always with these superhero open world games. Like enemies would spawn in, but it gets stuck behind geometry, so they're just like fucking like inside. That happened to me so many times in Spider-Man 1 and 2 from Insomniac. So I'm just like, all right, I guess it's in this game too. But yeah, this game is like a full package, man. You got like Riddler trophies to get. You got a bunch of activities to do in the open world. The main campaign is about like 15 hours long too. So you got a ton of content to do. My brother got the platinum for this game, and I think it took him like 30-something hours. So like there's quite a bit of content there if you want to play it. And it feels good, you know. They even got the Batmobile from fucking Arkham Knight. So and you can get different vehicles like from all you get like the one from Dark Knight, you get the one from like the older movies. It's really cool. It's just a bunch of fan service. It's just a really good game, man. Like just a great Arkham game. And you know, I guess I'm a bit of a marker because I haven't played the other two yet. I will. But this game is great. I think it's a good time. Just don't go expecting it, you know, it's not gonna be like a full Arkham experience. You know, you're not gonna get like, you know, like it's not gonna be as hard, it's not gonna ask as much of you as like the actual Arkham games, but as just like a nice game that like emulating that style, I think they did a great job. So yeah, Lego Batman is extremely good. I liked it a ton.
What'd you think of the Batmobile? Like, how do they actually use it in the game? Because my opinion of it is very, very negative, and you'll maybe understand when you get to Arkham Knight.
Yeah, see, in this game, it's very optional. Like you don't have to use it if you don't want to. Like the game, I think it asks you to use it only like a few times, but it's not. I know in Arkham Knight actually to use it like all the time because I remember my brother complaining about that when that game came out. So I know in Arkham Knight they used the shit out of it. And this game is very much like you could use it in the open world just to get to areas quicker. And there's some missions and challenges, like there's some racing stuff you could do. There's some like, oh, you gotta like chase a vehicle down and like get it, but it is not as like prevalent as it is in Arkham Knight or what I've heard of it, right? So it's very much like an optional thing. Like you can bring it in, bring it out. You know, you don't have to use it.
Okay, cool.
So yeah. So yeah, I fully recommend it. It's an extremely good game, and you know, I hope Traveler's Tales keep making these Lego games. Like I think these like big AAA Lego games have been like great in terms of like me enjoying them, and I can't wait to see like whatever properties they decide to do next. So yeah, Lego Batman, very very good. I personally think it's better than Skywalker Saga, and I really like Skywalker Saga quite a bit. So yeah, pretty good. All right, so next game is Yoshi and the Mysterious Books. This game also came out I think around the same time, and this game is good. I think it's cute. You know, I think it's probably the best good feel game. So they're the ones that made like Yoshi's Woolly World, Kirby's Epic Yarn, and then the last few games, you know, Crafted World and Princess Peach Showtime. I do think this game is better than those two, just in terms of like ideas and how polished it is, right? But you know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't say it's like a baby game, but it is kind of a baby game. So it's not really a traditional like 2D platformer like at all, right? It's more of like a puzzle platformer. So you basically the gameplay loop is you would open up the book and there's like six chapters in the main campaign, and you would like select this creature, right? And then you would go into the level, and the game basically just asks you to do stuff with that creature, right? So sometimes that could be a more platformy heavy thing. So you got like this creature that you could like bounce off its head, and it makes some music. So you had to like do things with that. Or sometimes you get like an umbrella type creature, and then you got to like, you know, go up the winds and stuff. So there's a bunch of different creatures, and that stuff is really cool, right? Like, you know, each level feels very like creative, and they're asking you to do a ton of different things. You know, if you want to get 100%, it is quite tricky because there's like flowers hidden in every stage that could be kind of hard to find. And if you want to complete the sort of like the field research notes that the game asks you to do, like it gets very specific what you have to do with each creature. And it really like makes you like think about it. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Obviously, if you're just playing through the game to like beginning to end, you know, it doesn't matter. But like if you are trying to like actually like get 100%, it seems like it would be a nightmare because there's like a ton of things to do. And yeah, and that's basically it, right? Like, so you just go in there, go to your creature, you interact with its gimmick, you get out, and that's really about it. Each level ends with sort of like a more, like a bigger monster or a bigger creature, and you would fight Bowser Jr., and then the level would end, and you go to the next world, right? It's basically the same thing until you get to the very end in chapter 6, where you actually have like a boss fight, and you get this cool creature that could become like any of the creatures that you previously like studied or whatever. And that was cool. If the whole game was like that, I think that would be sick. Like you could just like go to the compendium, make this creature turn to anything you've encountered, and like it really makes you think. That was really cool, but it only did it for that level, and that's it. The game has like a shitload of post content. Like it has basically like another 6 like worlds to play through. But I was like, I think I'm good. I think the game is cute. I think it's good. I don't think it's bad or anything, but it's definitely one of those games where like, and I knew it wasn't a traditional 2D platformer. I knew that getting this game. I was just like, I'm like, I'll get it. Why not? And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I don't know if I want to do another 6 fucking worlds of it, to be honest. But if you do like it, there's a lot of content. Like the game took me like 9 hours to beat. So like that's like you could double that with the additional worlds. And if you want to get 100%, that's like really pushing it. Like you got like quite a bit of hours into this if you like it. It's one of those games where I wish it was a demo like available, because you know, if you get the gist of it, if you do like 3 of these levels, you're like, okay, I kind of get what this game is now, right? So yeah, this game's really been teetering in my head if it's like actually good or not. I think it's cute. I think it's fun. Is it worth $60-$70? No. But if you really like Yoshi, or you think this gameplay style looks like interesting to you, then I'll say go for it. But I think it was good, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do much more of it. I finished it, I got credit, so that's good.
Yeah, I bought it. Funny thing about this is that I went to, because I knew I had trade credit from Retro Island Gaming. So when I went there, I was like, I think I have like $60-something. After my trade credit, it was like $1 that I had to pay. I was like, oh shoot, nice, cool. Anyways, I haven't played it yet because my girlfriend's playing it right now. But I did play the demo at Walmart. And I was like, all right, let me just like see like what this game's about. And you are right. It is very much like a puzzle platformer game where you are thrown into a level and you have to figure out like what you need to do to like get to the goal, if you will. Like it's not just like a traditional side scroller, which obviously they've done 2 of those at this point. So now they're trying to mix it up a little bit. And I appreciate that. I definitely want to jump into it and see it for myself. But yeah, it definitely looks like a baby game. It might play like a baby game, but you know, I'll find out when I get to it.
Yeah, again, not bad at all. It's a good game. I see a lot of people have been really enjoying it, and I like it too. I just don't like. I think I got my fill of it. Like I don't want to do more of it. So yeah, it's good. Well, the next game is fucking good. Is Mina the Hollower. So this is the next game by Yacht Club. It's currently the highest rated game of the year on like Metacritic and stuff. It's getting 10 out of 10s, all that jazz. And I can see why, because the game is just extremely good. I'm not done with it just yet. I'm about I think I'm about in the last third of the game at this point. Because it is a bit beefy. I think I'm like 13 hours in. It's like a 20-ish hour game. It's great, man. Like it's fucking great. It's basically just it's hard to describe what it is. What I like about Yacht Club is their games aren't exactly like, oh, like Shovel Knight, right? Like, oh, it's not just like Mario. It's not just like Mega Man or whatever. Like it combines everything from that era to really make its own thing that really stands out, right? Like it borrows mechanics from like fucking DuckTales, the pogo stick. You got the world select from Mario 3. You got the pick the what knight you want to fight, like Mega Man. It combines that all into a really unique package with a bunch of like modernizations from what you would expect from a game coming out in the 2010s at that time, and it made Shovel Knight into something like one of my favorite indie games of all time. Right, that game is fantastic. And Mina the Hollower basically does the exact same thing. It takes a lot of elements. It looks like a Zelda game, but it takes a lot of things from Castlevania, from Dark Souls. It takes a lot of elements from that, and it makes it into this own unique world that really stands out on its own, with all that polish of a 2020 game, right? Like in the 2020s and stuff coming out from like the fucking 80s, right? And it just comes out to be just amazing game, right? And again, it's really hard to describe. A lot of people have been complaining about its difficulty. I really don't think it's that hard, right? Like I'm not even trying to flex about it. I just think that it does borrow a lot of Souls mechanics. Right? Like if you die, you lose all your currency. You have to go back to a bonfire. If you use the bonfire, all the enemies respawn. The base difficulty of the game can be a bit rough. But I think the game gives you enough tools to really circumvent it. I mean, unlike Silksong, right? Because that was another game that got a lot of criticism for its difficulty. This game does have an easy mode. Like you could turn on a shit ton of modifiers to make the game easier. You could put like checkpoints before a boss fight. You could prevent yourself from losing your currency from death. Like the game gives you a ton of options. The only thing it really does is disable achievements, but like who cares? So like it's fine. I mean, I kind of care, but I'm not using it. But like, if you want to make the game as, smooth as possible for you, you could do that. You could just make the game into a Zelda game if you want and like eliminate all those Souls-like
Yeah.
elements to it. But for me, I think that definitely adds a lot to it. Like it feels very satisfying to get through every area. As you progress through the game, it has a very Zelda structure. The game is split into like 5 or 6 different dungeons. You could do any of these areas in any order you want, even though the game tells you what order to do it. It's like you should do like the crypt first because it's the easiest one, or you should do this area last because it's really hard. So the game gives you a ton of guidance to know where to go. You just explore these areas. You get like heart containers. You get all the good Zelda stuff from those 2D Zelda games. You get more more stronger items. You get more trinkets to act like these passive items that really help you out in combat. And it just really feels good to progress through this game, get stronger, and just like kill these enemies. And you can also just like level up too. You can like grind up a bit and just like win. It's like I think the game gives you enough tools to get through it pretty easily. But yeah, like every area has just been so great. Like every area has just like a fun gimmick to go through. Like one of the areas just has like a fucking nemesis system. Like this guy is just following me out the whole level, and it's like scary as shit. I love it. You have like ice stuff and a bunch of different mechanics everywhere. Every area just feels so fresh. The game looks beautiful, just that nice like sort of GB like color aesthetic that the Zelda like Link's Awakening has used. The music is great. The boss fights are really well designed. The game is just I've just been in awe playing this game the whole time. I want to finish it before the podcast, but no, it's been busy with the E3 type of stuff, so I've been busy with that. But man, the game is very fucking good. And all this for $20. Yes. This game is like 20 hours long. It's $20. The game apparently has like 7 new game plus modes that changes the game. There's a bunch of modifiers, like I just said. This game is packed full of content for that small of a price. I think it's like definitely worth playing. I think it is rough if you are just going into it and it's like, oh, I'm getting my ass kicked. But again, the game gives you the tools to circumvent those things. So I think anyone could enjoy this game if you did buy it and you could get your money's worth out of it. So yeah, I think Mina the Hollower is very good. I'll probably talk about it more when I actually finish it. But yeah, the game is easily like going to be like top 2 for me. Like it's fucking good.
Like I bought it purely based on the fact where I'm like, I don't want Yacht Club games to go down. So like when it launched, I was like, all right, $20, just eat it. Just take that shit. I have it on my PlayStation. Oh, yeah. I just got to download and play it. Hopefully within the next month or so. But all right, let's talk about Spider-Noir before we get into the slate of gaming news. This is the newest Prime Video series featuring Spider-Man, aka Spider-Noir, and freaking Nicolas Cage. This was honestly one of the more interesting Sony Marvel projects, if you will, just because I feel like that they've announced other Spider-Man stuff that they wanted to do on Amazon Prime before. I think they wanted to do a Silk show, and then that got canceled, and now we're here at Spider-Noir, which is probably the safest bet that they could have done, right? Because obviously people fell in love with that character through the Spider-Verse movies because of Nicolas Cage's performance, and to make it into a live-action show, obviously, I think the rumored numbers for this show is like millions of dollars every single episode, which is like, not like the best thing in the world, which is why probably Marvel stopped doing their like big MCU shows and now moving towards things like Daredevil and a lot more smaller scale stuff. But, for this series as a whole, first up, like within the first couple of episodes, and also the fact that you could just pick between black and white or color, what I was doing was that I was switching like every single episode. I do black and white and then color, then swap off, and it was still like a fluid like viewing experience because I would just watch like the recap in full, just see like how did it look in like the other format. And I think both formats are great. The colors are actually like very vibrant and very poppy. But by the end of it, I was definitely sticking more towards that like black and white aesthetic. But overall, like this show, it just has the fucking sauce. Like the way that they use the camera and the way that things are presented to us as the viewer, I'm just like, man, like this is great. And also the story, it's very much like a very basic, like sort of mystery, sort of whodunit kind of thing. Most of it is surrounding between Silvermane and the current mayor, and they're kind of like butting heads, and like freaking Ben Reilly, Spider-Noir is trying to like stop all that and try to like figure out like what the fuck is going on here. So we're kind of going on that roller coaster with them. But yeah, overall, I think that this show was great. I think if it did week to week, it wouldn't have been as strong because I think some episodes just didn't hit as much. But I think just making it like a one bingeable experience was definitely the right move.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been more of a binger than a week by week guy. So I like it like that. I wonder how well it's doing in terms of like people actually giving
Yes.
a shit, because I feel like I have like no one talked about it. I know my timeline's just full of like video game stuff, because that it's big video
Yeah.
game season. But like I do wonder how it's actually doing, like in
Hmm.
general, because I heard like no buzz about it, but it is really good. Like you said, I this show really surprised me of how good it was. I didn't really have any expectations about it. Like I didn't think it was going to be bad or anything, but I'm like, okay, yeah, let's watch it, right? And then by the end of it, I'm like, that
Hmm.
was really good. So I was doing what you did. I watched it in black and white, and then I changed to color. But at the end, I think I stuck with color, because the color looked
Yes.
really good. I'm like, everything looks so bright. Like, I really enjoy how it looks in color. So I ended up watching it in color
Hmm.
for most of it. But the black and white option also feels very authentic. It feels great. The fact that the show gives you a choice between the two modes is really nice as well. And yeah, just the show is just great in general. It really gets that noir feel really well. It just gets that feeling of that like an older Spider-Man that's kind of like been through it. They do that extremely well. Nick Cage, man, he's such a silly dude. Like just watching him do his performance in this show has been great. He could play like some pretty serious moments really well, but when he has to get goofy, he is not afraid to
Yeah.
get goofy. Like I absolutely love that. And just other things that I think this show does well is like things like the body
Hmm.
horror and stuff. Like you don't really see that too much in some of the other Spider-Man like media, like especially like shows or movies. Like you don't really see like the like man spider, and like the whole hospital scene was getting caught up and you saw all the
Yeah.
spiders came out. Like that's fucking disgusting, but I loved it. And just seeing like the horrible, like just like how that stuff was working, like how these people got their powers to begin
Hmm.
with, right? I really like how gritty it got and some of those things. And I don't even know what the show was rated, but like it was like kind of dark. Like they were like cutting people's
Yeah.
throats and like saying fuck. I'm like, I don't even know what this was rated, but I think it kept the tone really nice. I love just the main trio of Robbie Robertson, Janet, and
Yes.
Ben Riley. I think they were a good core cast, and yeah, all the villains were great too. Also, I'm a LARPer because I thought that was Electro, but it
Yes.
was Megawatt. I'm like, who the fuck is Megawatt? I'm like, that's not Electro's name. And then I looked it up. I mean, at the end, he says he was Megawatt. I'm like, who the fuck is Megawatt? And apparently, that's his own character. So,
Yeah, definitely a
oops.
much more obscure Spider-Man villain, which I didn't know who the fuck Megawatt was either. Funny thing is that before he
Yeah,
said like his name, I think I was like looking it up. I was like, who the fuck like is this guy playing? Because like he was like a pretty good actor. I was like, this guy's like really like selling
yeah,
me on like him being like this fucking douchebag piece of shit. But yeah, that core trio,
yeah.
like you said, with Ben Riley, Robbie Robertson, and Janet, like they were just so much fun to watch. Anytime that they were in their office together, it was just such a blast to see them all interact with each other. And then when they all did like their own separate things of like investigating like what's going on here, what's going on there, they all get like a moment to shine. And obviously, freaking Ben Riley is like the main character of this show. And, we really get to explore like his psyche and like his mindset behind being the spider, if you will. And he's like, I was just doing it for the thrill. But, in doing so, he was being a hero, even though he doesn't view himself that way because of, what happened, because he couldn't save the one person that he truly loved, and sort of how all that stuff how all of that stuff breaks down. My apologies. And then also with like the doctor, when like she's like experimenting on him to save her son, I was like, oh shit, like that's like a really good sort of foil and like mirror to like, what Ben Riley went through. And it's like, wouldn't you do the same thing if you knew you could save the person that you loved? It was like, well, shit, I guess cut him open. Fuck.
And I also love how different Ben Riley feels compared to any other Peter
Hmm.
Parker, right? Like he's like a lot more grizzled. Yeah, he kind of just like killed, like he doesn't care that much about like killing people. Like he just does it. Like it just gives him a bit more of an edge
Yeah.
to him. And I just love that. Like I love how, but he still has that core element to being
Hmm.
Spider-Man, right? Like he still has that in him. I think that just made him a lot more fascinating to follow, because when you watch a Spider-Man or any Spider-Man media, you kind of get the gist of what the character is. But with Ben Riley, it was cool to just see like that bit more edge to him, just of the time period and just like what he's
Hmm.
went through, right? I think that was really cool.
Yeah,
So
and also just like this sort of villain cast here, with Silverman, and sort of how he felt like a very antagonistic threat in this like, olden times era where it was just like, mobsters and like gang violence and stuff. And them also setting up the other sort of like Spider-Man cast of villains with like Tombstone, Sandman, it never really
yeah,
felt forced. And also having all of that stuff connect to Ben Riley's, origins as Spider-Man, with like the man spider biting him and all of that. I was like, dude, like what the fuck is going on here? Like like you said, a lot of body horror and a lot of just like much more mature themes being played out in the show, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, honestly, it was great. Definitely one of like the better Spider-Man things, and I think keeping it as like a noir thing and kind of saving a lot of the Spider-Man stuff towards the end, or having like those big
Mhm.
spectacle moments, really probably help lower the budget a little bit, because you could do that more noir style stuff for most of the show, and then save the Spider-Man stuff for later. And I just have to say, like the suit looks so good. I absolutely love that the Spider-Verse design of the noir like Spider-Man suit looks so good, dude. The hat, the goggles add so much. It looks
Yes,
so good.
every single time
So
that
yeah.
there were bits and moments within episodes of just like the action or just like web swinging around, I think it just shows that people are yearning for a live action Spider-Man, which we are getting in like a few months or so, But
Yep.
people have been dying to see that again on screen, and just seeing it here in the show, it still felt like the same things that we would see within Tom Holland's movies or the other Spider-Man movies, but you know just really solid show. I think that to those people that have not watched it yet, I don't even think we really got into like super deep spoilers, but like if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it.
Yep. It's very good. Definitely worth a watch, and you could binge all of it. So there you
Yes.
go.
All right, so now let's get into the gaming news. We got two little solo pieces here. So first up is Toy Story Retro Roundup and Toy Story 3 Complete Edition. This just shadow dropped before
Yeah.
all of the big presentations with the State of Play and Xbox Game Showcase, but they are pretty much collecting all of the retro Toy Story games and just packaging them into one. And then also, if you get the physical retail version, you get Toy Story 3 Complete Edition, which was locked on 7th generation consoles. And I've heard so many great things about that game in particular, about being like one of the best just like licensed
Yeah.
video games in general. And I was like, all right, I gotta play one day. Have not played it yet. And the fact that now we are getting this collection, it really gives me and other people a reason to finally check these games out. I have memories of trying to play Toy Story 2 on my PC, on my shitty ass PC back in the day, and we would try over and over again, and it just would not work. And I have memories of maybe like a few years ago of trying to play it on the N64, and I think that is still like the same game from the PC version that I try to play. But yeah, just like Toy Story in general, I know Disney loves to fucking milk the goddamn IP because they want to keep the toys on shelves, which is fair. But this collection is definitely something special, and I think that more companies in general should try to look into just packaging their games all into one, whether it is a remaster or a retro collection like this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, out of the Toy Story games I did hear were good was probably that PS1, like Buzz Lightyear game. That one I always heard people love. And the Toy Story 3 game on PS3 and 360 was something I've heard was like actually like a good game, right? Like I know everyone always talks about the sandbox mode, and that's back in this as well, or the toy box mode rather. So yeah, I'm excited to maybe try it out myself. I mean, I love like Toy Story 1 through 3. They're fantastic movies. I don't hate Toy Story 4 as much as other people, but like I know it, I get it. It's like really unnecessary. And then now we're up to 5. I'm just like, I don't know what we're doing anymore. But really cool that this exists. These licensed games, a lot of people don't think a lot about them, but it meant a lot to like a ton of people, including us, right? Like, and these games are really hard to re-release just due to licensing and just them being kind of obscure and stuff. Is like, who gives a shit about these licensed games? But a lot of people do, right? And I'm glad that they are just making this nice collection, and we're gonna get Toy Story 3 Complete. There's supposed to be like interview. I think Digital Eclipse is doing this, isn't there? At least for the retro roundup. Yeah, so they're pretty good with doing like the interviews and stuff. So that gives you like an extra layer of like appreciating these type of games, right? So I think that's really cool. I might pick up the at least the Toy Story 3 thing, because I am interested in playing that. So, and that comes out, when does this come out?
It is supposed to be released on October 15, 2026. The physical version will have both Toy Story 3 and the retro roundup. But if you are interested in just one of the collections, they will be available digitally. If I had to guess, $20 each. We'll see. There's no official price point as far as I could tell on the marketplaces. But yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really cool. Really affordable price as well. So, and that kind of leads to the next thing I want to talk about, which is Godzilla Destroy Monsters Melee Remastered. So literally the same thing I just said about having a licensed game that not a lot of people would care about, but it's getting a remaster anyway. I'm like, fuck yeah. So I actually never played Destroy Monsters Melee. I've played the sequels. I played Save the Earth and Unleashed, because this game was only on GameCube, and I didn't have a GameCube at the time. I grew up with PS2. I didn't get a GameCube until way later, and this game was like pretty rare to find in general. But it's basically the same exact game as Save the Earth. Basically, it's a Godzilla arena fighter, and these games were fucking awesome back in the day. I played the shit out of Save the Earth as a kid. Like I forgot to get it. It's in like drawer somewhere. But like this, my disc is scratched as shit. Like that thing is like obliterated. I played the crap out of this of Save the Earth, and having like a sort of like a modern remaster of this game is just great, right? We haven't really gotten a Godzilla game since the 2014 game on PS4, and that got delisted. So
And
you
that
can't even play
game,
that game
physically,
anymore. And it was bad.
It doesn't even matter that it's bad. That shit's like $200.
Yeah.
I was looking at it. I was like, what the fuck is that?
It's very rare. It's a very rare game. So if you have that PS4 copy, probably keep it. But yeah, people have been begging for like a new Godzilla, anything like game related wise for a while, because the movies have been popping off. Like the MonsterVerse has been going strong. We got Shin Godzilla and -1 and 0 coming out. But we just haven't had anything for the games. So I'm really glad they're dipping their toes, going back to this Pipeworks trilogy, people call it, because that's the developer that made these games, and they're just remastering them, and it looks great. Like it's not just a straight port. Like they actually are redoing the models, like Godzilla. They show Ghidorah. Like they all look super good. And the fact that it is being developed by the same people that made it originally is insane. I didn't even know they were still around. I had to check the wiki page. They're mostly like support studios. Like they helped make fucking Marathon. Like what the fuck? So it's really cool to see this game back again. This was like such a big part of my childhood. It's like the only other game coming out in November besides GTA and fucking like the Barbie collection. So that makes it stand out more as well. And it's gonna be, I believe, $30 on PS5. And I think $40 if you want physical on Switch. I'm probably gonna do what I did with Scott Pilgrim. I'm gonna buy this shit physical on Switch and then buy it digitally on PS5, because I ain't letting this shit get away from me. So I'm just gonna grab it. And it's on the cart. It's not game key card. It's on the cart.
That's
which
why
is
it's
great.
$10 more.
So,
but yeah. It's always great to see retro games, especially from the PS2 era, get remastered treatments, even remake treatments, obviously, but just seeing these games be available to people like me who may have never played them as a kid and don't have really strong nostalgia for these Godzilla games. But, Godzilla's fucking cool. And I think that getting this remastered made in and of itself, and to make it so cheap and so affordable, is going to open a lot of people up that are new Godzilla fans like myself to check it out. And you know what? Play it right before GTA 6 comes out. Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah. So really cool that they're doing that. Also, it's supposed to have like new content. I think it's like online multiplayer and like new single player campaign. So yeah, it's like they're doing a lot to it. So very excited for that.
Mopped, but it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the PlayStation State of Play. This was the first in the sort of summer E3 presentations that we have here. And yeah, just going into it, obviously there's a fuck ton of hype around it, because there have been so many rumors and so many speculations about a infamous remake, a new Uncharted game, and the fact that they announced this like 2 weeks ahead of time. It was like, okay, yeah, like this is going to be big. And then they also hosted this event at certain Alamo theaters. It was like, oh, okay, there's going to be something huge here. And for the most part, it was things that I think a lot of people expected, or things that were reported on before. Yeah. Obviously, the big headliner was Marvel's Wolverine, which I'm glad that they started off with first. And then it was a bunch of other stuff like Rayman Legends Retold. That shit got leaked like a week or so before. And then the only big surprise for me personally was Until Dawn 2, because I think there was no real rumors or speculation surrounding that. Then they ended off with God of War La Fey, which was a rumored game that was talked about before, where it was like it's going to be a spin-off game focused on Kratos' wife. And I was like, oh, okay, I think a Faye-focused game, and is going to be pretty cool. And they showed 20 minutes of it, which was fucking great. But I think overall for this state of play, especially considering the amount of hype and expectations there were, a little disappointing. But I think for like a state of play, it was like kind of average.
Yeah, I agree. I think out of all the shows, let me just say, like this E3, not E3 season, has been probably the best one since like 2019. Like it's been a while since like a summer has been as good as it used to be, which is great, right? Because usually now a lot of the big announcements are, say, for Game Awards nowadays, and that's sort of like the big time I get really hyped for. But I think overall, I think all the presentations have been good. But yeah, I do agree. I think the state of play was the weakest one, because we already kind of knew everything that was in this thing. The God of War game was already leaked to shit years ago. Like, we already know that we're kind of making it sound like this. Rayman would have been a huge surprise, but that was also leaked to shit like a week before this happened. So that kind of sucks. But again, it doesn't really change the fact that the games they showed were good. Until Dawn 2, I didn't really see coming, so that's cool as well. But yeah, I think overall it was good. for State of Play. I mean, State of Plays are always the one I'm like the least excited for because they're very much like just okay
Yeah.
most of the time. But this one was pretty good. So
But yeah, I mean, the full extended look at Marvel's Wolverine was pretty cool. I think that it really does show that this game is going to be like a much more traditional action adventure single player game and without the open world stuff, which I think is great, especially considering the success of 007 First Light. The fact that Insomniac Games kind of maybe foresaw that and was like, hey, I think people are itching for like a normal single player experience that doesn't have like us going around to like main objectives and like do side missions and all of this other mumbo jumbo. But also, how were you going to do that with a Wolverine game? He's not Spider-Man. He can't swing around the city, but the gameplay looked great. It was very bloody, very gory, and I think that Insomniac Games diving into that aspect of the Wolverine character is very, very good and not sort of like suppressing that, because that was a major factor in terms of why I liked X-Men Origins Wolverine back in the day on the Xbox 360, which many people still consider as one of the better Wolverine games overall. But yeah, pre-orders are open. It is still confirmed for September 15th, and we will be there.
Yeah. Like, I am glad they're going for that more Uncharted-y, like just like straightforward linear adventure. I think that fits Wolverine a lot more. To have more scripted events happening. I mean, like when you were going on that car chase and then like you had to go on top of the roof and stuff, like all that stuff looks great. Just having so many different environments too. Obviously, they can't really do that in Spider-Man because you're gonna be stuck in New York most of the time, which is fair. I mean, that's just where Spider-Man takes place. But here, Logan could go across the fucking world, right? Like, because just do a level by level thing. So I think that's going to lead to a lot more just cool environments. Just from the trailers, like I think we see like maybe some China in there and some like other cool locations. So I think it's going to really add a lot to the variety of the environments and stuff. And I guess the only thing that concerns me is like more of like the I know Wolverine stealths around, like that is a thing he does, but I do think it could like make it a bit more exciting because he's still just doing the AAA thing where he's just all right, time to go here and like crawl around and shit. Like I was like, okay, like we've seen that like a million times. We've been cool. They got a little more creative with that, but the combat still looks a lot of fun. I always count on Insomniac, doing something just amazing with the games. I know a lot of people didn't like Spider-Man 2 for various reasons in terms of like, just the story and stuff, but I guess we'll see when this game comes out. I have full faith. I'm a Insomniac fanboy, so definitely I'm excited for this game. So, how I am. Alrighty, so just next on the list, I guess we would keep with the Marvel. So Token Souls got another trailer, and they show basically the whole team of villains. So you got Doom, Magneto, Green Goblin, and Carnage. So that's fucking sick. And Carnage looks awesome in this. Green Goblin as well. I don't know if we knew about Magneto. We knew about Doom, but like they look great, man. Just the art style in this game is just so good, and I'm glad like a lot of the more recent Marvel games have been going more towards their own art style. Marvel Rivals as well. Same thing with this game. Just having these like really bombastic styles that really fit like their game and just go crazy with it. I love it so much. Like they look so sick. Even if I suck dick at fighting games, I probably will still get this game because it just looks so good. Like I want to play as that villain team, man. It looks real good.
Yeah, I think fighting game fans are just eating very, very good this year. We just had Invincible Versus come out, and now we have Marvel Token Fighting Souls, which is still scheduled to release later this year on August 6th for PC also. And yeah, I mean, just making the roster of characters as big as it is, I think is a very, very good thing, because when fighting games, I think in general, should always have like a really nice, healthy amount of characters, especially if you are like a tag fighter, I believe, so like you don't want people to play, like the same sort of 5 characters, if you will, but that might still happen. We'll see how good the balancing is, but I have a lot of faith within this team just because they have, other pedigree within other fighting games before. Arc System Works, obviously they know that they know what they're doing. So
yeah. Arc System has made a ton of fighting games, so I'm sure they'll know what they're doing with this. I mean, Guilty Gear Strive's still going strong like forever. Like that game's been in development for like 5 years at this point. So yeah.
Rayman Legends retold.
But yeah, I guess Rayman. Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
All right, so yeah, like Rayman. Okay, so like I saw the leaks, right? And I'm just like, why the fuck are we remaking Rayman Legends? Like, I know it was 13 years ago, which is crazy, right? Like Rayman Legends came out 13 years ago, and that makes me feel very old because I remember like buying it on Wii U. But and I bought it again on Switch, and recently I downloaded the game again when those leaks were coming out, just like play a level or two. I'm just like, this game doesn't need a fucking remake. Like it still looks beautiful, it looks great. Why are we doing this, right? But then they showed it, and I got a lot more excited, right? Like, I think it still looks beautiful. Like, I think 2D Rayman or Legends still
Yeah.
looks really good, but I think this remake does also look extremely good. Like, I think they found an art style that looks good. It still looks cartoony, it looks expressive, just in like its own way, right? And they are fixing a lot of things I did have issues with Legends. Like, there was no real story. It was kind of just felt like a level select. It's kind of why I always prefer Origins over Legends, because at least in Origins you had like a world map. You felt like you were actually like doing an adventure or whatever. I never really got that with Legends. So this remake is adding a story, is adding level hubs. The characters talk and stuff. So I think all those are really big improvements. And they're just adding a bunch of other things, like you could ride dragons and shit that transition to the other world. I think there's supposed to be some other things in there. Oh, it's supposed to be a whole new world, I think, at the end as well. So that they are adding a lot to it. But I'm still like, it probably should have just been a new game at this point, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
One thing I will say off the top, Ubisoft, how are we gonna can we not have one of your games leak before the big presentations? Like, it feels like every single time, ever since like Mario Rabbids, like the first one, like they've always had like their games just get leaked and like shit happens, and then when it does get announced, it's not as hyped as it could be or should be, just because a lot of people knew before then because of insiders or whoever the fuck is at like the Ubisoft like security office is like leaking it out or whatever, like it is just crazy. But a new Rayman game, I'm all in for it, even if it is a remake of a game that, like you said, probably doesn't need one, but it does allow them to figure out how much sort of leverage does the Rayman series have, right? Like, how many people are actually interested in them making a new Rayman game? Because I heard, or I saw this headline where it was like Rayman 4 might happen if Rayman Legends Retold gets, enough sales, which, makes sense. Like I am always a big predominant of collections and remasters and remakes and all of that stuff, as like within reason, right? Like I think The Last of Us is like the clear like definition of like, don't do this so many freaking times. But I think every other case, whenever there has been a remake or a remaster, it usually makes sense. And I think here, like you said, it's been fucking 13 years since Rayman Legends. And I think reintroducing it, not just to new adult players, but also to kids as well, is going to be a great thing for them. And like I said, give Ubisoft enough information to be like, hey, can we put enough resources into making a new Rayman game? And hopefully this one sells enough. I believe it is only retailing for like $40. And on top of that, you are getting Rayman Origins Remastered, which I don't know why they don't just like, call it like Rayman Origins Legends, like collection or something like that, because I think that would make more sense. But I guess because they put so much budget into just the Legends Retold part, they don't want it to get confused with the sort of small thing that is Origins Remastered.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just a great package, right? Like $40, you get Legends Retold, plus you get Origins Remastered, which Origins you can't even play on current systems right now besides PC. So I think that is just a beautiful package right there. Very unlike Ubisoft to do. And it's something I do want to support, not only for Rayman. Obviously the game's gonna be great as well, but I want Rayman to continue. I want the studio that made this game to continue, because I believe it's the same people that made the Prince of Persia game, the I'm forgetting, Lost Crown. Like they're helping like make this as well, and that studio at Ubisoft are some of the best, right? And that game had a kind of disappointing sales, so I'm hoping this game sells well, so we get more Rayman. This team can stay afloat at Ubisoft, and everything is good, right? It is coming out a very competitive time.
Yes.
It's going to be competing with a lot of fucking video games, but I do hope it does well, because the game does look great. It looks like they are putting their all into this remake. Maybe they wanted a new Rayman game, but Ubisoft is like, well, we give you half the budget to make a new one, so remake fucking Legends, whatever. So whatever. As long as get more people into Rayman again, that's fine by me. I mean, I absolutely love Origins and Legends, so having this, I won't complain too much. I'm just happy to have anything new Rayman related.
Yeah,
so
and it is at the top of October, releasing on October 1st.
Yep.
All right, so which one do you want to talk about next?
So, I guess we could talk about Tomb Raider. So Tomb Raider looks really good. This is the remake of Legacy of Atlantis, coming out February 12th. Unfortunately, there's stuff this game, and there's another game later. There are AI disclosures on Steam, which is very, very unfortunate. Again, we don't know the extent of how AI was used, but it's there, so that's great. But ignoring that for now, I do think the game does look really good. Like, it looks like a very classic Tomb Raider adventure. I love that Lara Croft is a lot more like cocky in this game. She seems a lot more like her PS1
Mm-hmm.
self. Not like there's anything wrong with the reboot series or I don't even know what you call that trilogy during the
Yeah.
360 days. I heard they were good, but this Lara Croft feels like, okay, that's Lara Croft. Like you look at her, I'm like, yeah, that's her. She's doing flips, she's shooting her guns at raptors and shit. Like it's crazy, right? The levels look cool. It looks a lot more, obviously Uncharted, even though Uncharted is based on Tomb Raider. It just looks like a really fun time. I do like those type of games quite a bit, and just having like Tomb Raider sort of come back in a big way is always fun to see. Again, just a little AI disclosure on Steam. I was just like, I wonder what they used it for. So yeah.
Yeah. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. It is now scheduled for February 12th, 2027. And, this is Crystal Dynamics and Amazon's big leap back into the Tomb Raider series alongside their brand new game, which they did not show during this state of play. But this new one still looks pretty cool. I believe the AI stuff alongside Crazy Taxi was only used during the pre-production, like sort of just like concept art and all that other bullshit, which I'm just like, you could just hire a real artist for. And I think that is like the main thing that people are concerned about, is just like, even though it's not like in the final product, even with something like Expedition 33, which is something that they also used when they were making the game, where it's like, we had like placement posters or whatever, but like, I don't know, just fucking put like a square there and say poster or something. I don't know. Like, you don't need to use AI to like have it like fully visualized. You could hire real artists to make that, and then maybe even hire that same artist to make the final product. I think that is just like the sort of main thing that people are taking away from like these AI disclosure things. But anyways, yeah, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, it looks good. Like you said, definitely harkening back to what Tomb Raider was originally meant to be. Very much very hot, sexy woman just going through these fucking tombs and doing all this crazy shit, solving puzzles. There's T-Rexes and whatnot. I have not played the original Tomb Raider. I'm definitely a lot more familiar with the reboot, which I only played the first game. But I really like that one, and I'm interested to see what this new one has in store.
Yeah, so I guess the last game we talked about before the big one, which is God of War, is The Lost Wild. I just want to talk about this one real quick. At first I thought this was Dino Crisis for real, because it looks like it's taking that really similar format of RE7 or the new Silent Hill, where it's like this first person horror game, but with dinosaurs. So I thought for sure it was going to be like, oh, this is Dino Crisis or something, like maybe a Jurassic Park take on it. But no, it's kind of like its own original IP called The Lost Wild. It's made by a team I never even heard of before, but it looks really like high quality. If they could get that sort of aspect of what makes like RE7 or I guess this new Silent Hill game good, I think they could really have something here, right? I think people have been kind of dying for like a new Dino Crisis type experience since Capcom stopped making them. And I think you could do some really cool horror stuff with dinosaurs as a whole. So it looks great. Definitely like a game that came out and that it looks interesting. So yeah.
I think that the survival horror genre is 100% eating very, very well. And I think this new one that's focused on just like dinosaurs and how scary they are. Because I think, especially us as guys, when it comes to like dinosaurs, look, it's a dinosaur. It's so cool. But, just like making a game where like you're actually like terrified and like threatened by them, because they are fucking big, bombastic creatures that, have lived for thousands and thousands of years. And, just having a piece of media that really depicts them within like a much more sinister light, if you will, I think will be very interesting. All right, God of War Le Fay. We'll talk about the controversy a little bit, because, the right side grifters will always talk about, oh my God, she's not hot enough or whatever the fuck, which, is the same bullshit that we get over and over again. And, when it comes to me, I am a big Deborah Ann Woll fan just because of her time on Daredevil. And I think the fact that they had the foresight to sort of cast her as Kratos' wife within the original 2018 game, and then obviously bring her back for Ragnarok, and then all of this time, they've been sitting on this God of War game, and they just brought her back to make this full-fledged one that's a sort of sequel, sort of paralleling Kratos and Atreus' journey from the original game after she dies, and now she's in the sort of gods of like heaven or whatever, and she's like fighting her way to survive and like do whatever. Like it is just a lot of crazy and weird stuff going on, and we pretty much saw the first 20 minutes of the game, because they show it and it's like, I hit X, new game, and I was like, all right, cool, we're just watching the first 20 minutes of it, and it looked fucking great. Not just because it's a girl or whatever bullshit that you want to say. Like, it genuinely looks like a impressive video game where the gameplay is very much different from Kratos, where Kratos is very big and bulky and he's slow. Faye is very fast and fluid. She's doing fucking air combos against these monsters and stuff. And the story, obviously, very interesting, very wacky. You got a fucking talking cube played by Jack Quaid, which is, amusing. And I just cannot wait to see what this game will actually have in store. And, hopefully when it does launch, people will finally realize that, yeah, this is just a fucking very good video game, and that the sort of loud minority on Twitter is not exactly reflective of what normal people will actually think.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to that sort of stuff, I always just like ignore it at this point. Like, I'm just like, it's just so exhausting to always see that everywhere nowadays. It's just like, you play as a woman, therefore bad or whatever. I'm just like, man, whatever. It's just like, what are we even talking about anymore? I feel like we like totally lost the plot. I get if you have other criticisms, like, I know like some of the cube named Frank could be a bit much to some people. Like, I get that. I think it's funny, but like I do get what people meant. Like, it feels a little too quippy and like a little too whimsical for a series like this. But I think it's fine. But like those feel like actual complaints that actually have some substance. But for me, I think the game looks great as well. I think she has a very different gameplay style to Kratos. Like you said, Kratos is a very bulky guy, especially in these in the newer God of War games. Like, he feels like a lumbering tank, right? With her, she's a lot more lighter. You're air juggling. She's a lot quicker. She uses magic. I think that really adds a lot to making her feel different compared to Kratos. And honestly, my crackpot theory is I think this might be sort of the gameplay style they want to use for the God of War remakes. Like, just this more fast, fluid, like air juggly combo bullshit. Like, it just seems like something they would do for the newer God of War remakes, right? Like, the camera's panned back a little bit more. But I have no fucking substance for that. That's just what I felt when I saw this. But it looks great. Like, the combat looks cool. The presentation is obviously insane. They're still doing the one take camera thing that I don't know if the PS2 games did, but like obviously the newer God of War games really stuck to that. And it looks great here too. Just having this world that's like, she's in the afterworld and you're seeing gods of a bunch of different mythologies here. That's just such a really cool concept and really opens the door to see some returning characters, right? Like, obviously I haven't played the PS2 God of War games just yet, but it'd be surprising if you didn't see like Ares or something, right? Or like Zeus, right? Like, see a bunch of the other Greek gods and really connect it back to that Greek saga. So it seems like it would be like a nice epilogue to like that Norse saga and really open the way for whatever is next for God of War while still being its own thing, right? So yeah, it looks great. Just the fact that it's such a big budget like sequel. It doesn't feel like just a tiny little side game, right? This is like the next God of War game. And it looks just fantastic. And apparently it's supposed to be coming sooner than we think. There's no release date just yet, but Jason Schreier says it won't be a multi-year thing. Like, you're going to get it kind of soon. So I'm hoping it's just next year. Just haven't nailed the exact date yet. So, but yeah, I personally think the game looks fantastic as well. And like, just seeing like she just acts like Karen, bro. Like, it's just so funny seeing her here because I'm like, bro, it's just Karen. Like, the way she acts, like, I'm like, dude, she's doing it. I love it.
Yeah.
So,
it is very interesting to see them announce this game, but not give us like even like a release window, like they could have said 2027, but it could be this year. Who the fuck knows, like the last God of War game, which was Sons of Sparta, that was obviously a much smaller game. They kind of just shadow dropped it. I don't think they'll do it for this one. I think they genuinely want to do like a small campaign for it. And maybe they're just wishing and hoping for freaking GTA 6 to get delayed again. And then they're like, all right, you know what? That's our November game right then and there. But, like Jason Schreier said, this is not going to be a multi-year thing because I believe they have been working on this for so freaking long. I think even when Alana Pierce was still a writer at Santa Monica Studio, she was working on this game. And then when she left, I'm sure that they had to rebuild and like retool everything because now she wasn't with the company. So, I'm sure that we're going to see this game a lot sooner than, people are expecting. And when it does come out, I will be there. I think that this is the most I'm excited for when it comes to this new God of War trilogy because I'm just such a big Deborah Ann Woll fan, and I cannot wait to see sort of what she does within this game and sort of how it plays out and how they connect it to the other God of War games because people have already been doing that. They're like, oh wait, like this connects to like this scene within God of War 2018 or Ragnarok and shit like that. I'm like, they're doing some like 4D chess here, and it is going to be spectacular to see it all play out.
Yeah, it would be cool if like I said with the Ares stuff or whatever. Like, it'd be surprising we didn't see him. Like, yeah, that does like connect back not even to opening up new things for God of War, but also the remakes and
Yeah.
like, just see like how things will act
Mhm.
there, right? So it's gonna be interesting what to do with this series moving forward since they basically ended it with Ragnarok. So very excited for that. But yeah, that was the state of play. I thought it was pretty good. Again, it's mostly just a lack of surprises that
Yeah.
kind of like brought it down just a
Mhm.
little bit. But again, most of it isn't even Sony's fault. Like most of it was just leaked like a few weeks before, or we just kind of knew about some messy development like with the God of War stuff.
Mhm.
But I still think it was a pretty good show. Um, so yeah, I guess we can move on to the Summer Game
Yes,
Fest. So
sir.
Summer Game Fest, I think this is the best Summer Game Fest Jeff has done. Like Summer Game Fest is usually very mid. Like there's usually like fucking nothing. That's me. There's some stuff, but I feel like he saves a lot of his really good stuff for the Game
Yeah.
Awards, right? This was the first Summer Game Fest where I felt was like actually like really good. Like this felt
Mhm.
like good. And I'm happy for that. There's like a ton of games shown. We have a few right here that we're personally interested in. But yeah, just a lot of good stuff was shown. I mean, I guess I'll save that one for the edit. Let's start with
Yes, we'll start with Resident Evil
here.
Code Veronica.
So,
Sort of like the remaster.
or just Veronica,
Yeah, just
now,
Veronica.
Yeah.
So the reason why I think this Summer Games Fest was so good, or just Summer Game Fest, because I think you should have named it Summer Games Fest, because everyone keeps calling it Summer Games Fest, like me. But anyways,
Yeah.
I think the reason why this show was so good for Jeff is because I think he like reached out to everyone like months in advance, like so far in advance that he called dibs on like things like Resident Evil, Wolf Among Us, Stellar Blade, like these games that you might see at a state of play. Sony just couldn't get because like fucking Jeff already got his grubby hands on it, which is great for him because that just means that more people are gonna watch that show comparatively to the PlayStation state of play. Because obviously, he can't fucking grab dibs on God of War. He's like, the fuck, that's a Sony thing, you can't grab that in particular. But just watching this in my car with my girlfriend because we were just out that day, it was a pretty damn good show. And considering that it is like 2 hours long of just like straight just like game announcements, there's gonna be something there for everyone. Obviously there's gonna be some sleeper moments or some things that you're not gonna like so much, but when fucking Ninja Turtles came on, bro, I was popping off so hard.
Let's go.
But let's start from the top, which is Resident Evil Veronica. You really could not tell that this was a Resident Evil game until like the very end, and you could really tell that like Capcom's doing some fucking witchcraft over there with the RE engine. This game looks insane. I was like, yo, what the fuck? It looks better than Resident Evil Requiem. Like that is just insane because that game already looks really, really good. And now we got Veronica, which looks even better. And the fact that, people have been obviously rumors, speculation on this remake for Code Veronica have been going on for like over a year now. And the fact that we finally see it and it looks this good, I'm excited for it. I definitely want to jump into the original before I play it. And I'm sure that people are going to be very satisfied with what this game has to offer because when they first started doing like this whole remake train with like RE2 remake, RE3 remake, they did RE3 remake the following year, and then that one wasn't hitting as strong. So obviously they like slow down a bit. They're like, all right, we're doing RE4 next. Let's make sure we don't fuck that one up. And even though Code Veronica isn't like a sort of pop culture phenomenon that is RE4, they still want to make sure that like this game, because this is going to be a lot of people's first time jumping into Veronica, they want to make sure that it is the best experience possible.
Yeah, and it's great because there was a lot of things with like, did RE4 need a remake to begin with? And it's just like, probably not, but they did the remake really well. Code Veronica is something that probably does need a remake because it's not exactly like people like it, but it's not the best of the Resident Evil classic series. I've also heard like something like Resident Evil 0 might get a remake as well because that game is also kind of like just okay. So having these games get remade, like they feel like they actually need it, right? And it's cool to see them actually go ahead with that, right? I was afraid they'll just jump right into RE5, which was like a big rumor that they were. So I'm happy that they're doing just Code Veronica straight up, and hopefully they could do like a bit more of the classic games before they start doing like Resident Evil 5, right? Because that does feel like okay, like RE6 needs the fucking remake, right? But like RE5, like sure, I mean you might as well do it as well. But yeah, Code Veronica getting the remake, that's great. It's good to see Claire because Claire hasn't been seen in like fucking forever, so it's good to see her. And Chris Redfield, I think, is supposed to be in this as well. I think those are the two characters you play as. So, it's gonna be a good time. And Capcom,
bro, they're on a roll. They're on demon time, that's for sure.
Yeah, fucking crazy studio, dude. Just pumping out these games quick, and they're fucking good. I don't know how they do it, man. So, I guess we'll talk about TMNT.
Sure,
right?
fuck it. Let's talk about TMNT Last Order. So, Damian, what do you know? Because obviously I know a lot more of Ninja Turtles knowledge than you do.
I still know that there's one turtle. He uses other weapons. Don't know who the turtle is.
Okay, cool, good. That's good. That's good. So
I still don't know who the turtle is.
Yeah. So this is based on a very popular sort of mini series that they came out with within like early 2020s, late 2018. I don't even fucking know. Anyways, when it came out, it was a very, very big thing because it saw the return of Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird working together on a new Ninja Turtle story alongside Tom Waltz, which was the guy writing the books at the time also. So this story is about one last Ninja Turtle. So like pretty much they go to war with Shredder and the other three die along with Master Splinter. And now it's just one left to like end the entire battle. And this game was announced a while ago. It was in development by another studio, Black Forest Games, I believe. And now that is like completely canned.
Yes. Yeah.
So now they sort of re-announced it with Platinum Games working on it alongside with Paramount Games publishing it. And that was like the big thing that was announced the day before Summer Games Fest happened. And it was like, oh, like what the fuck is this gonna be? Is this like a Sonic movie game thing that they're fucking doing here? No, Ninja Turtles, obviously, because fucking Ninja Turtles makes money. And I think that this is one of the better Ninja Turtle stories that they've done within recent years, that it has seen many adaptations or attempts at a adaptation. The movie got canceled, unfortunately, but I'm so glad that this game is still being made. And the fact that we have Platinum Games behind it, they're like a little bit of like 50-50 when it comes to like their products. But I think overall Platinum Games knows what the fuck they're doing when it comes to like the hack and slash formula, especially. And if they're able to keep like the story beats and sort of like the narrative going, I think that this will be a great fucking video game. Obviously like the story's there. They just have to nail like the presentation and like how they show everything to the viewer. Because obviously they're taking something from the comic book and turning it into a video game.
Yeah, I mean, you could not pick a better developer than Platinum for something like this. I think they did a TMNT game before and it was kind of bad, but it also like rushed to do it. So I don't think I really count that because that was when they were also doing the Korra video game. And honestly, that Korra game wasn't even that bad, let's be honest. It was fine. It was like a $15 Xbox arcade game. It was fine. So I think now that they're going to have a proper time to really develop this thing and make it as good as possible, I think they could make it really good. And, Ninja Gaiden 4 I heard was pretty good and they developed that. So I think Platinum is back. They have been making not great things lately. They made like Babylon's Fall, which was kind of shit. And I think that, I know Bayonetta 3 was very contentious as well. So I will see how they do, but I think Glass Ronin for Platinum Games seems like that's like something you would say back in the days. Like, yeah,
yep, easy.
They're the people making this game. So yeah, very, very cool. Very dream come true for that as well. So I want to talk about the Cuphead sequel. So yeah, so this is a thing happening. That's basically it. It's a new Cuphead sequel is being developed. Obviously, with 2D animation, that stuff takes a very long time to make. It does make it a bit disappointed they weren't working on this already for a while, because it's been a while since the DLC for Cuphead came out. So the fact that they say that like they just started working on the sequel for this, I'm like, oh, we're not gonna see this shit till like 2040, bro. But I'll let them take the time. Cuphead is like one of my favorite indie games. It's super great, such a great game. But in the meantime, they're making this small little spinoff called Mighty Cuphead. And this is sort of like a Sega Master System sort of throwback type game. And apparently you could run this on actual hardware. I've been seeing that on Twitter. They say, yeah, you could run this on a Sega Master System when it comes out. I'm like, that's crazy. I love the art style for that game as well. Seems to be more of like, it's a small 8-bit adventure. It's not just to tide us over. And I think it looks really cute as well. So yeah, whatever this studio wants to do, I'm all down for it. Just happy to see more Cuphead. It seems to be a very successful brand nowadays. They had the Netflix show, the game, the DLC. So very excited to see the sequel whenever that comes out. I still
have to get on the Cuphead train. I remember playing it launch day with my neighbor Louis, and we were having a fucking hard time getting through that game, but it was still fun. And I think them now finally announcing that yes, Cuphead 2 is in development. But in the meantime, here is Mighty Cuphead Adventure, which is a 8-bit Master System 2D platformer game. And I think that will hold people over. Obviously, it's not going to have like the same hand-drawn art style, if you will. But I think just making more Cuphead stuff could be beneficial. And I think just making sure that the brand stays within people's minds will get them excited whenever Cuphead 2 gets a formal announcement.
Yep.
Stranger Than Heaven. This was like the weird fucking game of the show, just because they showed Tupac, and I was like, what? Like,
Yep.
me and my girlfriend. Okay, so like context before this happened. This was the first game that I saw for the Summer Games Fest like presentation, because I went into a
Yeah.
store before then, and then when I came back to the car, I missed out on Resident Evil, Cuphead, and Alien Isolation. I was like, fuck. Anyways, we're watching this trailer.
Yeah,
We're
a lot of good
watching this
stuff.
fucking trailer.
Yeah.
And then obviously they revealed Tupac at the end, like a fucking Smash Brothers character. I was like, what the fuck is this shit, bro? Because obviously there's like a lot of controversy with this, because even though Snoop Dogg went on stage, it was like, yeah, you know, we work with the family estate, which, you know, sounds good. But when you do like the actual research, like no one from like the actual Tupac family owns that estate. So it's kind of weird that like he's just in this fucking game. Like, who's gonna voice him? Is he gonna say anything? I don't even think that he should be in the game if like this is the case where it's like the family didn't really have like a true say in the matter, because Tupac isn't like some fictional character, you know, like this guy was murdered. This guy was a real guy, and he was murdered, and I was like, why are we putting him in this video game? It just seems really, really weird. And like, I'm not the most educated on this, but I think that just putting him in the game is already weird as is. And this isn't going to make me buy it. If anything, it's going to make me not buy it.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. It's just like very weird energy. For a second when it's just like, yo, Tupac is going to be on stage right now. I'm like, what's happening? But I was like half expecting that. But yeah, it does feel very like, just like, I don't even know what you like. It's kind of when the Tupac hologram thing was happening a few years ago, or that was a while ago. It's just like, it just feels like in bad taste, because like, like you said, who the fuck is gonna voice him? Is it gonna be AI? Is it just gonna be a voice actor? Like, what's going on here? And like you said, with the Tupac estate too, I was reading more about that as well, and it's like the guy that owns it is just some white dude, some white guy. So I'm just like who's this dude, man? So I don't know. Everything about this seems very scummy, and I think Snoop Dogg has been known to really take advantage of like Tupac's image as well, just from what I was reading. So yeah, it sucks too, because I think the game has a good style to it, but when you do stuff like this, it just feels very weird. I think there was some other controversies with RGG, with I think with some Japanese actor that they also was using the likeness of, but he was also dead. I'm like, just find new people, or just don't use them. Like it just feels very odd to be doing that. Like it just feels weird, you know. So yeah, not a big fan of that. Alrighty, so moving on from that, I guess we'll talk about Alien Isolation, because we didn't mention it. This is cool that this is finally happening. You know, this has been a thing. You know, people love Alien Isolation, right? It was a game that came out like in like, I don't remember, like 2014 or something. A while ago, and people loved it. But I remember it sold like shit, and I think critics hated it. Like I think IGN gave it like a 3. I think that was like a very famous like review from that game.
That guy's not the best figure on social media, but go on.
Yeah. So, you know, this game had like a lot of like things going against it when it came out, but it really stood the test of time as like one of like the best horror games that really reignited the horror game like sort of like genre again, right? Like just having this one xenomorph that follows you around. It's smart. It would look behind like beds and cabinets and shit, and get smarter as the game goes on. That's just such a unique aspect to this game. It's basically always playing with like, if Nemesis is always chasing you the whole game, right? And like it's like learning, like, right, it's like a smart ass AI. I think having something like that, but with modern technology, like, you know, that game came out almost 10 years ago, or over 10 years ago at this point. So knowing the technology we have now, you could probably make the xenomorph like even more insane, maybe have a group of them chasing you this time. So yeah, I think Alien Isolation has always been really ahead of the curve when it came out. I think the main issue I had was it was just too fucking long. Like I heard it was like 20 hours for no reason. So if they could like kind of lean it out a little bit, I think it will be good. But it's something I've been interested in playing. I probably should play it before the sequel comes out. But really cool, we're finally getting a sequel to this game, since people have been begging for a sequel for this. So it's cool to see it.
You know, Alien Isolation, like I was talking about earlier, you know, survival horror games in general are kind of seeing like a huge resurgence, and I didn't know the fucking game was 20 hours long. You know, like that's just crazy. You're just expecting the player to be shitting themselves for like that long, just. But anyways, a sequel to that, I think that is going to be amazing, outstanding. I definitely want to play the original at some point. Maybe we'll do that together. But yeah, you know, I don't really have a strong attachment to the Alien IP. I think I watched the newest movie, Romulus, which I thought was pretty good. You know, it might have been a little bit too fan servicey for like certain Alien fans that have been watching those movies for years and years and years. But, getting a new Alien Isolation game, this one got a lot of cheers from the crowd, just because I think it was announced in 2024. So now the fact that we got a formal announcement, 2 years after, is going to be pretty cool. So I don't think there's a concrete date for it just yet. It's still happening. Just make sure that, whenever it does come out, that you will keep your eyes on that.
Yep.
All right, Wolf Among Us 2. So this was the other sort of big bombshell that Jeff Keighley dropped on us. And yeah, I mean, they have done so many announcements about this game. It is just so funny. They're like, yeah, guys, it's going to come out in 2018. It's going to come out this year. Going to come out that year. And it looks like Telltale have finally have a secure date of 2027. And to make it even more so, they're going to release a remaster of the original this holiday season, which is great for me because I own it on the PS Vita, which I might still play. I don't know. But yes, I have it on Vita. And, I could probably still play it on Steam if I really wanted to. But, just to play the remastered version of it with like new enhanced visuals and graphics and all that stuff, just to finally see what the fuss is all about with probably the best Telltale game ever. I played a handful of those games. Obviously, The Walking Dead, Batman. I've yet to play the Borderlands one, but I think back then when they were on like that Walking Dead train, they were making so many games during that time, and most of them were pretty damn good. And the fact that Wolf Among Us is still like reigned as like their best one ever is very, very interesting. And, people have been waiting for this sequel for a very, very long time. So hopefully that they are able to stick with that 2027 release date. And I will definitely be there when they release that remaster.
Yeah, I felt like I played it recently, but I checked Steam. I beat it in 2016, so it's been like 10 years. I felt like I played it recently. I played this recently, and I'm like, no, it was 10 years ago. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I will say like Wolf Among Us is like top 3 Telltale game. It was, for me, it's that, Tales from the Borderlands I love, and Walking Dead Season 1. Like for me, that's like the holy trinity of Telltale games right there. Those are some of their best games they produced. And it's really cool to finally get Wolf Among Us 2, hopefully coming out next year. And I'd definitely be down for playing that remaster, just because it's been so fucking long since I played the original. Maybe not as long as some other people, but apparently it's been a long time. I didn't know I played it that long ago at this point. So definitely I'm interested in replaying that remaster because I absolutely adored Wolf Among Us when I did play it. So really cool that this is finally fucking happening. All right, I'm gonna nerd out about Guild Wars 3. On. This is another thing that all right, so Guild Wars 3, yeah. So we don't get a lot of big AAA MMOs anymore, right? Like I'll say New World was sort of like the last one, and that's fucking dying now. So good for it. But I will say like the early 2010s was sort of the last time we had a big explosion of MMOs. Guild Wars 2 came out 2012. Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn came out 2013. A bunch of other like MMOs came out during that time. But after that, it was pretty silent, right? Like that was sort of like the last big push for MMOs, and we haven't really seen one ever since because they're obviously very fucking expensive to make, right? I mean, Destiny 2 is basically shuttering down, right? That's also like an MMO light type experience. They're just very expensive to develop for. So honestly, I never even thought we would see a Guild Wars 3. It was always in the back of my head. I'm like, I still love Guild Wars 2, but it's getting old, right? It doesn't feel like Final Fantasy 14 where it feels like it has like a lot of life left to it. Like Guild Wars 2 does feel like it has been winding down, right? So getting this announcement, and I already knew this was happening because a few days before Summer Game Fest, they were like, hey, something's going to be happening. And there's been a lot of rumors Guild Wars 3 is being made. So this wasn't like a huge surprise to me, but just still seeing it is crazy. We're getting Guild Wars 3. And it seems like this game is going to be a lot more focused on sort of like movement. I mean, Guild Wars 2 already was, but it looks like they're emphasizing like wall running. So I'm guessing like some Tears of the Kingdom type vibes going on here. Mounts are still going to be a huge thing, gliding. Like a lot of things people liked about Guild Wars 2 still seems to be in this game. And it looks like they're combining that with a lot of elements from Guild Wars 1, which I haven't played yet, to this game as well. So it's going to have like a skill building system that Guild Wars 1 had. It looks like it's going to be a bit smaller in scale than Guild Wars 2. So a lot more like Guild Wars 1 where you're more focused on like just having a party and like you're doing stuff. So again, we don't know much details yet. The beta is supposed to be coming out fall of next year. I don't know when's actually coming out, but the beta is in fall. And ArenaNet already put out like statements being like, we're not like just giving up on Guild Wars 2 or 1, since recently they made Guild Wars 1 Reforged, which I actually just bought on Steam. That they're sort of like continuing on with Guild Wars 1 development, which is crazy because they haven't done that in years. And for Guild Wars 2, they already said they're going to be fixing up a lot of the core issues the game had since launch. And then after Guild Wars 3 comes out, they're going to be continuing doing expansions for that game as well. So they kind of want to have like all 3 Guild Wars games going on at once. And they all kind of take place in separate not separate timelines, but like different places in the timeline. So like Guild Wars 3 is supposed to be all the way back in the past, like 1,000 years before Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 2 is all the way in the future, then Guild Wars 1 is sort of like in the middle there. So hopefully it works out for ArenaNet. That's a very ambitious plan. It's a company that's always been, they always have great ideas. Again, I absolutely love Guild Wars 2. I got it at launch. It was my first real MMO. I've always loved it. I have over 1,000 hours in it. But I feel like ArenaNet has always been like kind of above their heads on like what they could do with some stuff. Like Guild Wars 2 was originally not even supposed to have expansions or anything. Like they were just like, nah, this game could just live on by itself. And obviously no. So then they started releasing expansions, and I always felt very cobbled together how they like progressed with Guild Wars 2. It's still an amazing game. I think everything they've done has been great, but I'm hoping Guild Wars 3 has a more streamlined approach now that they have years of, practice with Guild Wars 2 over what works, Guild Wars 1 what works. So now we can see what they're going to do with Guild Wars 3. And it's supposed to be on fucking consoles, which is crazy. It's supposed to be on PS5, which is not a thing that happens to a lot of MMOs. They probably saw the success of 14, which does really well on consoles. I mean, 14 is going to be on Switch 2 now. So I bet ArenaNet's just like, yeah, we should probably make our MMO more available. Like, it's not just a thing PC gamers can enjoy. It's something everyone can enjoy now. So definitely a lot of big news there. I could talk about this for like a fucking hour. Out of all the games that got announced during this is probably the one that has me the most intrigued. It says like, just for its genre, it's just such a big thing that's happening, right? So yeah, I'll talk more about Guild Wars 2 when we actually see like gameplay of it. But yeah, this is like really, really big news for me. So yeah.
All right. I will pick out Saw Genesis. So this game just looked cool. Obviously like Jeff Keighley did like the whole bit where it's like, oh, hello, this guy's on stage. What the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. Want to play a game, Jeff? Yeah.
And the cinematic trailer looked very, very cool. And, I think me and my girlfriend really thought that this was going to be like another like survival horror game, which I think it definitely could have been. And then it was a 3 versus 1 multiplayer game. Another sort of, I guess, sort of Outlast thing, another Dead by Daylight game. It's like, okay, well, I think a lot of companies see that Dead by Daylight has been going on for like a decade now. They're like, we could do that. It's like, I don't know if you can. Like, it's very hard to like get a live service audience really hooked on your game like that. And I don't even know why people play Dead by Daylight like that. Just like as like a very ignorant standpoint, not to like shit on the game or anything. Like, I just don't know why people play it like still to this day. I'm sure it's just like a fun, casual just thing where you just run around and shit. I used to play the Friday the 13th game, which is a very much unpolished version of that, I guess, but another one of those, 3 versus 1 multiplayer games. We'll see how well it does. We'll see how long it actually sticks with people. Because when it comes to the horror movies, another thing that I'm still like slowly getting into, I feel like Saw hasn't really had like a huge presence within the film industry for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of just been like, I feel like other, the term like gore porn type thing. Like, I think Terrifier really outdid it in terms of that, and like a lot of fans have been going towards that. I've never been into that. Honestly, like for video games, I'm not that squeamish about like anything. Movies, I got a lot more squeamish. I don't know why. I guess I'm a little bitch with that. But in terms of this, I think like you can't really get much from the trailer, but it seems more. It's less like trying to be like Dead by Daylight. I think it's supposed to be more like a dungeon mastery type thing. Like maybe like the one player is like putting down the traps and like the other 3 players have to like navigate. Like I think that's a lot more unique. There was other games like that in the past where it's like you play as like a dungeon master and like the adventure is like going through the dungeon, you like place traps or whatever. I think that'd be a cool thing to do. I don't really know what the fuck this is supposed to convey from the trailer, but if they do something like that, that would make it really stick out. But like you said, I don't know how long it's gonna have a player base for. It definitely seems like something fun to play with friends. Like maybe if they have like a friend pass system where one person buys in, the other people could join off you. I think that'll help the sales a lot to actually get people to try it. But I guess we'll see. I think Dead by Daylight kind of just has that asymmetrical horror game genre locked because it's just like that has everything, right? Like that game like has fucking Freddy Fazbear. Like you can't compete with that. So I feel like that game kind of just has the stranglehold on that genre. So any other horror game that does that, I'm like, you should have just made it like some like a narrative game or something. But that is just what it is. Cool concept though. I guess before some of the other stuff, like I'm going to talk a lot about Final Fantasy 7 in a second, but I guess talk about Stellar Blade real quick, and then we do the Star Wars. So Stellar Blade, I like the first game. I think came out like 2 years ago at this point. It's good. I didn't finish it. I probably should finish it. And yeah, it's good. I mean, like things like the story and stuff as like kind of asked in that game, but like the actual gameplay is fun. It's a good mix of like platinum games / Souls like. So you have like that like sort of Souls like hardness to it, but you still have like that really flashy like countering and special moves that you get in a platinum game, right? And I think all that stuff came out to be pretty good. Like I think Celebrate is a good game. This game does look better. It looks like it stands out a bit more just because of the fact you're not using a sword. I feel like just the fact that you're using like your fists and you're more of like a brawler like type character, I think that adds a lot more to it. And it just looks a lot more fun to play, like just a lot more unique being in like this big city and stuff. I think there's also some controversy with AI for this game too, because some people are pointing, the AI, it looks like AI in the trailer. I don't know how true that is. I would need to like look that one. I can't confirm. Just saw people on Twitter saying it. I don't know if that's true or not, but and I know there's some controversy with the character herself because she does look very
she looks like a child
for what she is. So you know how these games are, but at least gameplay wise, it does look fun. We'll see. Celebrate was a good time. I know that game also had a lot of controversy because of like how the character looked. So I guess we'll see when these games come out. But if they find their audience, so there you go. And I just play them because I just like action type games like this, and I do want more games like this again, like just like pure not fully Souls like games, because I feel like those have really affected the action game genre. I kind of missed the fact when they were like really fast, fluid action based games, but. Yeah, I guess we'll see when we get more information on this game.
Star Wars Zero Company, August 27th. This is a turn-based strategy tactics game. Think of SOCOM, think of Mario Rabbids, think of anything like that.
Yeah, this shit is my fucking shit. Yeah,
but
awesome.
with Star Wars. And I just looked at the Steam page. This game's going to retail for $50. EA, you greedy motherfuckers. We'll see how well this one does. Whenever a new Star Wars game gets announced and it's not KOTOR, I always have to hear my girlfriend fucking rage about it because she wants KOTOR. She wants one of the actual super duper hyped Star Wars games, or even fuck it, Battlefront 3. Bring that shit back. But EA wants to do all of these other spin-off games and whatnot, which, I'm down with. Honestly, I think that the turn-based tactics genre is something that I really want to get back into. And I might do it with Mario Rabbids. Who the fuck knows? Because I've been sitting on those games for a while, and they are pretty cheap and pretty accessible. I might just start there, then maybe I'll go back to Fire Emblem, maybe try this game out. But who knows? Like I said, $50, kind of a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, it depends on how much content there is. Like, I think if it's like a good amount of content, like XCOM game, I think I'm fine with that. Honestly, it's actually cheaper than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like $60 or something. I'm a big fan of these type of games. Like, I love XCOM. I love Fire Emblem. The Mario plus Rabbids games are fun as well. Final Fantasy Tactics. So yeah, this game looks like it fits right in my genre of like things. We got some teasers. We got like fucking Anakin in there for some reason. So
apparently, according to
is this in the Clone Wars?
The game description set in the twilight of the Clone Wars. So
okay, well, there you go. So it looks like it might have a pretty interesting story. A lot of character classes. It looks like you got like droids and like you got Mandalorians in there. So yeah, it honestly looks right up my alley, and I am quite excited for this game. The only thing I'm concerned is the performance looks kind of rough in the trailer. So I'm hoping the performance gets lightened up as the release date comes closer. But yeah, it looks great. I'm personally excited for it. Alrighty, so yeah, big news now. All right, so before we get to FF7 Revelation, Street Fighter 6 got a bunch of characters I don't care about and fucking Tifa. So hell yeah, man. She's very excited for that. That's really cool. I haven't bought any of the DLC for Street Fighter 6. I thought Street Fighter 6 was really good. I would definitely buy Tifa because I love Tifa. So there you go. We don't know much more about that. She's just in the game. So that's really cool. All right. And now FF7 Revelation. So this game looks fucking incredible. I am so fucking excited for it. It comes out spring. And they just announced, they showed so much of it. They showed so much more than I thought they were going to show. It was like 10 minutes of like Matt Mercer telling me about Final Fantasy 7. So, you have your airship like you did in the third part of Final Fantasy 7. So you could go anywhere. You could like drop on the map Fortnite style. You just like fucking, where are we dropping, boys? You drop onto the map. You could do whatever, whenever you want. The game just looks gorgeous. There's a job system now. That's fucking sick. I fucking love job systems in Final Fantasy games. That's just in this now with the costume changes and everything. There's all the different locations from that part 3 of Final Fantasy 7, like third disc. You could do all the side quests that look familiar, like the Wutai stuff. Yeah, it just looks fucking good. Like the music looks great. The Obviously the ending of the game is going to be crazy. Everything about this looks so much more polished than Rebirth and Remake, and I love Rebirth. Rebirth was so fucking good. My only fear of this game, like everything looks so good. The open world looks great. They have the combat system just keeps evolving and stuff. The only issue I have is the ending, right? Like I think Remake's ending was okay. Rebirth's ending I thought sucked. If they don't nail the endings to this game, I'm gonna be very, very angry. Because everything about these games are incredible. I absolutely love Rebirth and Remake. Like some of the best combat I played in any JRPG. The games look beautiful. I love the characters. Everything is great. But the endings they keep dropping the ball on. So the original FF7 already kind of had a weird ass ending to begin with, which was fine. I think it fit that game well. I really just don't know how they're going to do the ending to this game. And I think that's very important when you end trilogies like that, right? Like people still think of the ending of Mass Effect 3 because it was so shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it really tarnishes that game. It sucks is Mass Effect 3 is actually a really good game. It's just the ending like really brings that game down. So, and the whole trilogy down in general, right? So I really hope this game has a good ending and just nails everything. Because I think this team at Square Enix is some of the best they've ever done. Like this is what I think of when I think of Final Fantasy. It's goofy, it has serious moments, it's bright and colorful, you got an awesome combat system. Everything about this remake trilogy has been perfect. And I know it's very easy to be cynical about these games. Like, oh, why you split a game into 3 parts? But I'm like, they did so good about it, though, because the games are great. So I don't care. So yeah, everything they showed about Revelations looks really good. Just the world looks so much more improved. Everything looks gorgeous. It's going to be on everything now. It's not just on PlayStation. You go on Switch 2, Xbox, Steam. It's on everything. And yeah, it just looks great. I was in awe just watching this. I just loved everything I was seeing. I'm so excited for this game to come out, and it comes out, spring of 2027. So not too much longer of a wait. They did a whole trilogy in 7 years, which is unheard of in modern gaming at this point, besides Capcom. And I think Capcom is the only people that could do that. And Square managed to do gigantic RPGs in that time frame. So, and it shows you what you could do when you keep your team together, you don't lay off people, and you kind of just innovate on your series while still making it good each game, right? So yeah, more gaming companies should look at this as a big example on how to do a trilogy in the modern day. So yeah, FF7 looks fucking incredible. Very excited.
Yes, I still need to play the original Final Fantasy VII before I even touch one of these games, because I know that they're fucking just massive RPGs in general.
Yeah, the weird sequel. Yeah, that was a weird pseudo sequel. So yeah.
All right, Xbox.
But yeah, it looks fucking good.
Xbox. I did not watch this live, so Damian could give his review in terms of what it was like watching it. But I mean, it seems like that there was a lot of great announcements here. Seems like that Xbox really does want to make a big push to be a competitor once again within the console game, like making certain games exclusive, which I will talk about more later.
Yeah, I mean, there was a ton of games here. Watching this live, I always like the Xbox ones a lot because they're very quick. They're very here's the trailer, literally no downtime. Maybe there was 2 talking points and that's it. Besides that, just trailer, here you go. So it's very quick and easy to watch. I also like it because Xbox has a lot more unique games. I feel like the other presentations don't really go for. A big criticism with Summer Game Fest is there's a lot of Souls-like games here, or there's a lot of realistic looking Unreal Engine games here. I think Xbox has a lot more interesting games with different art styles into their presentations and really mixes it well to the overall package of what you're getting, right? And I've always appreciated that. I mean, they showed Expedition 33 that they showed that in an Xbox game showcase, and that was crazy, right? That game ended up being Game of the Year last year, right? So Xbox always has some pretty good shows. And I think this one was pretty good too. I don't think it's as good as some of the previous ones, but I still think there was a ton here that was obviously extremely good. So yeah. I guess we can talk about Gears of War first because this kind of has important news for the future of Xbox. As a Gears of War itself, it looks good. I mean, it's Gears of War, right? This is sort of the beginning of the Locust, right? Locust invasion on Earth.
Emergence Day, as they call it, yeah.
So I got Emergence Day, yeah. So I don't know shit about Gears of War. I played 2 a little bit, and that was fun. It's a series I do want to play. It's not like I'm not playing it because I hate it. I just I haven't gotten to it yet. But it looks good. You know, you got Marcus Phoenix, you know, we're Dom, you know, I got good Dom or whatever. And he's like running around. So it's very, very Gears of War. If you like Gears of War, you'll like this. But sort of like the main thing about this game is gonna be a console exclusive. So it's still gonna be on Steam, but it won't be on PS5. And apparently the PS5 version was made, but it's just kind of there now. I think Xbox or Microsoft in general just wants to maybe like test if this is going to work, because there's one more game that they are keeping a console exclusive too, which is Clockwork Revolution. Both of these games are going to be console exclusive. So I feel like Xbox really wants to test this theory and see if maybe this, like maybe more Xbox are getting sold or it's not going to work and maybe they still go multi-platform anyway. I personally feel like they probably should have waited until the next Xbox came out, Helix or whatever it's called. I think they should have waited for Helix to come out and then start doing the exclusives again. Because like, I'm not going to buy an Xbox in like the 7th year it's been out, right? Like, you know, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to wait for the next one at that point, right? But, you know, this whole thing with exclusives, if they work or not, like, I think it is good because it makes these companies really want to make the best games they could possibly make, right? I'm not saying like they haven't already, but I feel like they really want to push like you should buy this console to play this video game. It works for Nintendo and it worked for Sony for a long time too. And I feel like when Sony started going multi-plat, it's not like the games got worse or anything, but I feel like they kind of lost a little something there. I think you should have a line of exclusive games that actually make you want to get a console, because then what's the point, right? I know it kind of hurts the consumer, but also like I think it does push everyone to be better. And we don't feel like, especially like Xbox, right? Like Xbox has been like sitting in the rut for so long. So I feel like if they start having their own line of really good exclusives, I think we will have a more healthy balance between like Sony and Xbox. And I feel like we're leaning too much into the Sony side and just kind of doing whatever they want, you know?
Yes, that is a big point when it comes to now Xbox under the new leadership. They're like, all right, let's test the waters. Let's see if these console exclusives are going to work. And you know, my opinion when it comes to that, I think that is like a great idea. That's like a great move. Sure, fuck it, do it. See if it works out. This is the reason why I don't think it'll work. Just like you said, we're kind of late into the console lifespan. And also on top of that, the biggest thing for me personally is that these games are also still going to be on PC. Like they're still going to be on Steam, Epic Games, or whatever. So you could still play them on another platform that doesn't require you to buy an Xbox, right? Like PlayStation, they aren't putting their games on Steam anymore. Like they haven't announced it, but Ghost of Yoda is not going to go on fucking PC, like most likely. And alongside Marvel's Wolverine, that's going to be on the PlayStation 5. But because PlayStation dipped their toes into PC a little bit, now that players know that those games are going to be exclusive to PlayStation, it's like, shit, I kind of want to play Wolverine now. Well, I'm even if I wait a few years, it's not going to appear on PC magically. I guess I have to buy a PlayStation. And that's the thing with Xbox still. I think, like you said, they probably should have started doing this with the next console generation. But the biggest thing also is that they have to cut ties with PC, which is kind of hard because like it's fucking Microsoft we're talking about here, right? Because, you know, they still see like a piece of that pie of them, you know, getting games onto PC. You know, it's obviously good for everyone, you know, especially good for me because I'm not going to fucking buy an Xbox. But if they really want to compete within the console game, they have to stick like actual like console exclusives. But I don't think they'll do that, like I said, because it is Microsoft and they do want to play buddy with PC. But if they do start doing that, I will be very surprised, because I think that is when Microsoft will actually have like a foot in the door to like try to compete again with Sony. Because, you know, Sony has, you know, they've been eating shit a lot recently with like Concord and like the whole live service games push, and they're slowly recovering. They're slowly making changes. But I think if Microsoft was in a much better spot, they could fucking kick that door down and really like get ahead. But because they also have been eating shit for a while, they're slowly building themselves back up. But yeah, I think this whole console exclusive thing, sure, screw it, see if it works out. Certain games on here like Halo Campaign Evolved and Fable, I believe, are still coming to PlayStation 5, which is obviously good for me. So you know, I can still play those. But I do think that it is kind of weird that they have like a version of Gears of War E-Day playable on PlayStation and they're just not going to release it. You know, like all of this money that they could make back from developing this PS5 version, they're just not going to release it. And you know what? Okay, fine. I guess I'll buy it on PC then. But you know, it would have been nice to get a console version to those people like me that have a PlayStation 5 and PC to go and get that choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's a bit weird doing it now. I think it's more like a statement. It's just like, we're doing this now. It's like, okay, even though logistically it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm all for them going back to more console exclusives. Like I always felt like it was fucking weird that Gears of War and Halo on PS5. Like it feels like they're getting cucked. I'm like, it's weird. Like I don't like seeing that. I'm like, damn guys, you guys can fight a little bit. And keeping on PC, I think that's always been the middle ground for Microsoft because it's Microsoft, so I don't think they're losing much money with that. But I was telling my brother, I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe they maybe hop out of Steam and maybe make people just play on the Xbox apps to get 100% of the profit. But you know how PC players are with different launchers and stuff, so we'll see. But yeah, I guess we'll see what they do. I think when Project Helix actually comes out, we'll probably know a lot more about what Xbox wants to do with the brand and see how it works, right? Since this is going to be this was sort of the first step on the new leadership, right? Without Phil Spencer and stuff. So we'll see how Xbox really holds it together after a certain point, because it'd be great to have a full competition between Sony and Xbox again. I would definitely love to see that, as we do benefit as consumers with that. Yeah. So yeah,
but Gears of War E-Day.
So,
Gears of War E-Day. I didn't even talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You didn't even talk about E-Day. Yeah,
yes. As someone who has been playing the Gears of War series for a while, even though when I probably shouldn't have been as a young child, this game looks fucking insane. Even though this is a prequel game,
it does look really good.
They are doing so much with it. First up, they are zooming out the camera a little bit so you could see more of the environment and all of that other stuff. And when you do the reload thing, it's actually right in front of you and you're not looking at the top right corner. There's a lot of little things that they're doing, which I think goes a long way. Fucking sliding, the fact that you could slide in this game is pretty cool. You being able to duck under that little sort of cover that you had, I think that was pretty dope. And you climbing up on certain things and then jumping across, I was like, okay, yeah, this seems like a fun Gears of War campaign to really play through, because I've yet to play Gears 5, but I didn't hear a lot of great things about it. I like Gears 4, but I know that game still doesn't hold the same pedigree as the original Epic Games trilogy, if you will. But yeah, it seems that they really put a ton of effort into making this one the best Gears of War game possible. And just with everything else, they are avoiding November like the plague. So they are releasing on October 6th. Like I said, Xbox console exclusive, but it is still available on PC.
Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, like I said, Gears of War is always a series I really want to get into. Mm-hmm. So I do want to play them at some point. Because they're fun, just third-person shooters. They've always been just a good time. And E-Day, I was watching, I'm like, damn, it looks good. Just graphics-wise, it looks really nice. So, I think the slate of Xbox stuff does look really good as we move on to Fable. Fable also looks really good. You got was that Captain Carter, by the way?
Oh yeah, I don't know if you saw the so apparently she's the villain. Yeah. Haley Atwell.
Yeah, she's the villain. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot her name. Yeah, so she's the villain, so that's cool. It's coming out February 23rd, 2020. So it did get delayed. Yeah. They said it was going to get delayed. So it's coming out February now to avoid that, that GTA hot zone, I guess. So it looks good. Fable, I think, it's always been a series I liked. I never beat one. I did play a lot of Fable 2 as a kid, and I thought it was good. I thought it was always felt like a very unique RPG series, and I hope that it looks like they are building the magic back with this new one, because I know the third game was kind of okay to a lot of people. So hopefully this will bring back the series into a proper series for Xbox again, since it's been away for so long, right? So yeah, Fable looks pretty good. And I'm looking forward to it.
Fable as a series,
you want to talk about Halo? Oh, okay, yeah.
Fable as a series, I feel has always been synonymous with Xbox, and ever since Xbox One, I would say it's really slowed down. Fable has not been as much as in terms of a highlight, because nowadays people are it's Halo, Gears, and Forza, but Fable was always there on the original Xbox and the 360 days. So hopefully this game is good enough to really bring it back. It is described as a immersive open world action RPG, which we have plenty of these days, so we'll see if this one does anything differently. But yeah, Halo Campaign Evolved. This is the single player Halo remaster remake once again. I believe this is an actual remake, so before the fucking TikTok commenters come at me again, yes, this is another Halo re-release that is a remake. It is coming out July 28th. It is also going to be available on PlayStation 5. And I think the reason why this game and I believe Fable are getting PS5 releases, this was some bullshit that I saw on social media, so I could be wrong, but it was something they already sold those versions to the retailers, so they are expecting those versions, so they can't take it back or whatever, which is weirder.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, I guess it makes sense for Halo because that is coming out like pretty soon. But for something like Fable, that's not scheduled to come out until February now. So I don't know. But I guess they were able to work around with Gears where they're like, we got to keep that shit to ourselves, which is fair. Anyways, Halo Campaign Evolved looks great, fantastic. Every single time they do a new version of the original Halo, it always looks better. And I think that this is going to be another way for people to get into the Halo series, even to those people that have been playing it for years and years and years, just like remind themselves in terms of why Halo is so special.
Yeah, I remember trying to play Halo 1 pretty recently, and I honestly I think a remake could be in order. Like the game is definitely like a lot more open, and the game kind of just doesn't tell you some stuff. I'll just do that. I could be just like fucking zoomer brain, I guess, with that. But me playing, I'm like, where the fuck am I going? I know there's one level that was really like infamous as well. That was like hard to know like where you were going. But this remake actually does look really good. I'm still like it's a bit weird to just doing the remake like or just the campaign rather. Like they're not really adding anything else, and not even just some multiplayer just to have it there. But sure, I mean, I think it looks great. Like just the colors are super vibrant, it's very colorful. All the covenants it's very purple. Like it's very very purple, and I think everything just pops out really well. And you're gonna have like 3 prequel missions, I believe, before like the main campaign. So that's pretty neat as well. I don't know how expansive they're gonna be, but it seems like a cool thing to have. And it comes out pretty soon. It comes like July 28th or something. So that should be great. I definitely will be probably getting it. It's going to be coming out on like it's on everything too. I'll probably just get on PC because I'm not going to play a first person shooter on a controller. So, but yeah, it looks good. Again, still like you were mentioning with the whole PS5 thing. It is weird that Fable isn't an Xbox exclusive either, because I feel like that's so far away that they could have gone away with that. And like I do think Halo was very like cooked, like it had to come out on PS5, but I feel like Fable would have been a really strong one to have a console exclusive, but I guess not. So I think maybe they promised it on PS5 already. I don't fucking know what the logistics are for this, but yeah, very, very weird stuff happening with the actual Xbox game studios. But yeah, Halo looks pretty good. Alrighty, so I guess we're gonna talk about Crazy Taxi. Okay. So this was cool, but then they have the whole AI thing, right? And they, Sega has said the way they're using AI is, like they generate the thing, and then the artist would use that as a reference, and then like make the thing. But like I said during the what game was it? Divinity. The Divinity like new game they're doing that Larian is doing. They also said they're like, oh yeah, we're just doing it for concept art. But I'm like, that feels like it's like the root of the game, right? Like even if you do generate the concept art, you're still making it in the game, even if you just kind of like paint over it, right? So it still feels weird to me. I feel like it has to be better ways to actually use AI for workflow. Like it probably would have to be in coding. Like that would be like the most, I guess, ethical way to use AI, just like streamline your code base and stuff. Like I can understand that. Like I have done that as well, because my classes was like, you should do that. I'm like, okay, I guess. So I did it. And so like I get it. But I feel like still using anything for like the art or just any other concept stuff just still feels weird to me. But it sucks too, because I think this game looks great, right? Like I think Crazy Taxi, it looks really good. You got the old song back. You got all the Crazy Taxi stuff. You're doing a bunch of crazy like driving around, different objectives to do. It's supposed to be like a world tour, so you're going to different cities. Like that's such a cool concept for a Crazy Taxi game. It does suck that a lot of the wind got off its sails due to the AI disclosure, but hopefully it's not as bad as we think, because the game does look really cool, and I do want Sega to really bring back these series. We already know that we're making this game, and we already know they're making a Jet Set Radio game. So it'd be sad if like all of them are like just, we use AI now. Same thing with Sonic, right? And, dude, the discourse on that would be like catastrophic. So,
I was gonna bring that up, but yeah. Crazy Taxi World Tour. I still remember when I bought it randomly at Play and Trade on the PS2, and I was like, sure, let me try this game out. This is a case where like a re-release or like a remaster was good in my benefit, because I'm a fucking PS2 kid. So I was like, let me go and try out Crazy Taxi. I've heard so many great things about that, and I played a pretty good chunk of it. It was a really fun, archaic, just, you're just driving around trying to get people to their destination in a certain amount of time. And I'm sure that this game's going to do the same exact thing. but do some even crazier stuff. We obviously didn't see gameplay of it. It was mostly just like a CG trailer. I think it was like this fucking guy had like 20,000 pizza boxes. That seemed pretty wacky.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2027 is when it is scheduled to release. And obviously the AI disclosure thing, you know, I mentioned it before when we were talking about Tomb Raider, is just, I think when you're using AI to do stuff creatively, that's when it kills a lot of the fun for people. Because when you are using it for like code or in the medical field, just to like streamline things a lot faster because you gotta do shit fast there, it's like, okay, yeah, sure. That makes sense. Or, you know, something that's like super duper tedious or something that isn't part of like the artistic process of like doing something, right? Because if you could just hire a concept artist, just fucking hire a concept artist. You know, like there's people out there that want to be concept artists, that want to, you know, help in the process of making these things to be like the first stage of it before they get someone who is like the sort of final artist or whatever the case is. You know, obviously I don't know the fucking stages of like making art or like making video games in terms of like that scale. But I think using it as like references or like freaking placement pieces, it just makes no sense. Like just hire someone. I think just getting someone that, you know, like give them the prompt. Like don't hit enter on Chat GPT. Just give the artist a prompt and be like, all right, here, make this, and then whatever you make, we'll make notes to it, and then we'll give it off to the next person, and then they'll make the next iteration of it, and then it'll go on and on and on until they have the final thing for whatever asset or environment or whatever it is for that game, right? It just makes no sense to use AI just to cut some corners and just get it done faster. I feel like, you know, if you start with AI, at the end of the day, it was made with AI.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Again, it really just takes away a lot of the excitement because so many people were very excited for this new Crazy Taxi game, and then as soon as the Steam page went up, it's like fuck. So I get it. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully, like, you know, it's not as bad as we think it is in terms of like what we're using the AI for, but it still feels weird to be like, yeah, it is a thing that's there in the game, right? So very unfortunate. It seems like Sega is pretty proud, like they want to use AI. Like they had multiple articles saying they want to use AI. And they even acknowledge that there's a ton of heavy backlash to it, but they don't care. They're just going to use it anyway. I'm like, God damn it, Sega. When Sonic Frontiers 2 comes out and that shit's there, it's going to be
my God, dude. Stupid. The Sonic community is, they are already like pretty woke. So like, I think when you put AI in front of them, a lot of them are going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? Some of them might do some crazy ass shit on social media. And I'm going to be like, please don't do that. like, I just hope that Sega pulls back a little bit. Obviously, they seem to be very stubborn in their ways in terms of using AI because, you know, it does save them money and it does cut corners, but it's killing the environment and wasting a lot of water.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else you want to pick out?
I guess Magician, The Devil's Deal. I had no idea what this game was when I was going through the r/games like thread on like the Xbox Game Showcase. I was like, what the fuck is this game? And the Steam page, it looked pretty fucking cool. A lot of people are calling it very Bioshock-y because you have two hands. You could do two different things with those hands. It's a first-person game and it's very wacky, very colorful. And yeah, it just looks very, very cool. It's going to be a day one game for Game Pass and it is scheduled to release in 2027.
Yeah, it just looks really cool. You know, just one of like the new, like sort of original games that it showed off on the Xbox thing. There's quite a few of them that were shown. I think we're gonna talk about another one in a second. But this one looks good. Again, very Bioshocky, cool like art style to it. I really like the whole like maybe this dude made a deal with the devil. He has to get out of there. He has like magician abilities, like he has like cards and like a little wand and stuff. I think it's a really cool aesthetic and just like a cool, unique way to experience this world. And yeah, it looks like something I definitely want to keep my eye on. It definitely looks like it could be a cool little game that when it does come out and might even surprise some people. You know, a lot of these games that get announced during these Xbox showcases, like I said, could wind up being game of the year. Who knows, right? So I like it when they do these games. I feel like they come out of nowhere. It's just like, oh, this actually looks really cool. So yeah, definitely something I'm going to be keeping my eye on and wish list on Steam. So yeah. Let me talk about. I'm just gonna talk about Persona.
Yes, I know you were dying.
All right, so Persona 4 and P6. So Persona 4 Revival looks fucking great. You know, I was kind of like, did we need to remake Persona 4? And like, no, you really didn't. You know, I think Persona 4 Golden is kind of like the start of modern Persona to begin with. Like, you could play that game just fine. and a lot of the mechanics from that game are still applied to like Persona 5 and 3 Reload. Like that, that is still a really great version of that
Mhm.
game, right? But after seeing this trailer, I'm like, all right, I mean, it does look fucking good though. So, just having it in like full HD, just seeing the new character models, the new environments, like the TV world just looks so fucking good. Like the fights are just so just colorful and just like crazy effects happening. You have the more modern things of having like ultimate attacks. You have a baton pass, which wasn't in a regular Persona 4. So they have modernized the combat system to fit in line with the other Persona games. And it is going to be a remake of Persona 4 Golden. So like the whole controversy with Persona 3 Reload was it didn't include any of the bonus stuff that the PSP version had or the FES version of Persona had for Persona
Mhm.
3. So you had to like buy it as DLC. And people thought that was really scummy, and it kind of was. For this one, it looks like they are just getting all that bonus content arriving. Like it's being remade with that in mind because Marie was in there. She was only in Golden, so that's cool to see they're not going to cut out any of the Golden content, which is good. I don't know how you would make that into DLC to begin with, since that's like so integrated into the game now. So I'm glad they're keeping it like that. But yeah, besides that, looks fucking great. Like the fights look so good. The new voice acting is great too. Like all of them sound very similar to their old voice actors. I mean, it's gonna be hard to like replace like Yuri Lowenthal and
Yeah.
stuff and Laura Bailey. Like that's the cast was stacked in the original game, but they're all busy doing stuff now, so I get it. But the new cast members do sound very familiar to them, and like the only one that sounds really different is Teddy, but he sounds pretty good. Yeah, game looks great. Very excited for it. It comes out February as well. Very excited. Persona 4, that was like one of the games that really got me into JRPGs to begin with. So I'm really excited to experience it again. And obviously Persona 6, we didn't get a lot about this game besides it exists. But it was really cool to see Persona 6 just get formally announced like this. Like that makes me very excited. It's green. I've been speculating it's going to be green for like 4 years at this point, and it's fucking green. So there you go. And it looks like it's gonna have a more of like a culty vibe to it, like fucking like Dandadan or something. I don't know. I really like the vibe of it. So yeah, I guess we'll see more of it at some point. I don't think this is gonna come out to like 2028 or something. Like I think this thing is still quite a far away, quite a ways away. So I guess we'll see it in probably next year, if I'm gonna be honest. So, but really awesome to finally see Persona 6 get announced. Really cool.
Okay, Vivarian. This was a random ass game that they announced towards the end of the show. This is a life sim adventure with a hands drawn art style.
Yeah.
People are calling it Studio Ghibli esque. I would say very much retro anime art style. I think that that's a much more fitting term for it. But hey, the game looks cool visually. You already have me sold. I'm not a big like sort of life sim guy, but I definitely am going to keep my eye on this one because I think the fact that they are keeping everything hand drawn and the way that the game just looks, it literally looks like you're playing an anime. Like that just looks fucking insane. And I think the same way that people were impressed by Cuphead all the way back then to even people that are impressed today by Mouse PI for Hire, this game is going to look very, very good when it does fully launch.
Yeah, this game really popped out to me. I'm like, wow, that looks incredible. And I think on Twitter, the person making this said like I think they did a lot of this by themselves too, which is like fucking crazy. So, and everything was animated, hand drawn. So I'm like, damn, I give this person a ton of credit because the game looks like really great. Like as a game, I don't know how it's gonna play just yet, besides being a life sim. But just looking at it, I'm like, yeah, that looks great. So definitely would keep my eye on this as well because I always like to support games that have very interesting art styles and are pushing the game like medium forward. The art isn't just hyper realism. So I think that's a really, really cool looking game right there. I guess I could talk about Castlevania. So Castlevania Belmont's Curse. This is the new Castlevania game by the Dead Cells creators, and it looks great. I think all this game is very similar to Dead Cells in terms of like how it looks. So you have like the 3D models, but you have like really nice looking 2D assets everywhere else, and it really makes the game pop. Like I think all the effects look really good. The gameplay looks a lot of fun. It's a very standard Metroidvania, but it makes sense because it's fucking Castlevania, so it's kind of like its genre to begin with. And it's just cool to see Castlevania back after so long. Like I think the last game was like Lords of Shadows 2 or something by Mercury's team, but obviously they're doing the new Metroid games now. So it's cool to see an original like Castlevania game again, right? It's been so long. And again, Konami has been really killing it in terms of like just showing that they still have it, right? Like bringing back Silent Hill and bringing back Castlevania. Like it's just really cool to see them move forward with these franchises with new games. And I've seen a lot of Castlevania fans really excited for this. I still need to play a ton of I haven't played like any Castlevania, so I would really need to like catch up with that. But as someone that loved Dead Cells, that this game looks great. I think they're doing a good job really getting the vibe of what made those 2D Castlevania games so good to begin with. Because Dead Cells is a giant love letter to that series to begin with. And they had DLC with Castlevania as well. So it's been all leading up to this. So really cool to see them really get their hands on Castlevania. And that comes out soon. October is the perfect release date for that. So even though it's going to be quite crowded.
October, September, they're becoming very crowded because of a certain big triple or even fucking 4A game or whatever the fuck you want to call it. GTA 6
the first quadruple A game.
GTA 6 is on another level. But the other game we got here is Spyro, A Realm Beyond. Honestly, when I saw this, when I was scrolling on my phone at work, I was like, no way this is fucking real. No way they just announced Spyro like towards the end of the show. Because I knew at that point that they ended off on Call of Duty for whatever fucking reason. They were like, we're going to end on Call of Duty again. I was like, all right, cool. But then I was like, wait, they actually announced a new Spyro game here. And Toys for Bob is the developers behind it. And it was just a CG trailer just to show that Spyro's back. I believe Tom Kenny is voicing the character again, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like the biggest Spyro guy. I would definitely say I'm much more of a Crash Bandicoot fan, even though I grew up with the Legend of Spyro trilogy of games. I really liked those growing up, and I know a lot of people may not like them. I definitely want to go back and revisit those just for like the fun of it. But I also have the trilogy remake that they did a few years back. I still have it on my PS4, just haven't popped it in yet. But I definitely want to dive back into those games alongside my own childhood Legends trilogy just to see what Spyro's all about before this new one comes out in 2027, because I believe it's been like 15 years since anything new and original Spyro has come out. So it's been a long time coming for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I recently, not recently, I think it's been a few years now, played through all the Reignited games, and they're great. As a Sonic fanboy, I haven't really played the Spyro games really until then. And yeah, they're great. Spyro 1 is a good time. Spyro 2 is definitely the best one. And 3 is okay. I think they added a little too many playable characters in that one, but it was still a good time. And it's funny that you mentioned those Spyro games, the Legend of Spyro or whatever, because apparently it's rumored this game is supposed to have some like RPG elements to it or something. So it sounds like they want to make it a kind of like like a mix of like classic Spyro and maybe like that Legend series as well, which is very interesting. I mean, the flight segment they put in, like I think that was like in the final Legends game, like you could like do that
in the final game. It was very much like, I think the selling point was like you could fly whenever you want. Like you could just take flight. And I think it was you and I forget the other character's name.
Yeah, the other one.
Yeah,
the
Cinder
or whatever.
You were like attached to her like at all times, and you would have to like do like different puzzles and all that other stuff with it. Because like the little bit of gameplay that we saw, I was like, this is just like a scripted ass fucking thing. I don't even know what's going on here. But it's a new Spyro game, which is something that people have been wanting for years.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what direction this Spyro game takes place. It looks like it doesn't want to just be like straight up classic Spyro, like actually wants to like evolve the series. So I guess we'll see. I mean, Toys for Bob, they did such a good job with Crash 4 and like the Reignited trilogy. So I'm excited to see what they do with this game. So it's been a long time coming. So I'm excited Spyro is finally getting his flowers after like 8 years since Reignited trilogy, which is fucking insane or something. Like that game came out quite a while ago at this point. So I'm very excited to see Spyro get back in the spotlight. And yeah, I guess like sort of like just the last thing to wrap it up is the Clockwork Revolution. I just want to mention that this is also going to be the other Xbox exclusive game that's coming out. So they want this game to sort of be like a big console exclusive. And people are excited for this. I think it looks good as well. It looks a little crusty in terms of graphics from what I've seen. But it has still a cool setting, very like, steampunk sort of aesthetic to it. This one you have, you're seeing all your party members and stuff. Is another very like RPG-y / BioShock type adventure game. And it just looks neat. I think the first time they showed it, it looks really cool as well. So I'm excited to see that it's finally coming out 2027, since I think they've already shown this game like 3 times already. So it's going to be cool to see it finally coming out. And it seems like Xbox has a lot like promise in this one. Like they want this to be like a new Xbox brand thing, I feel. So we'll see if they could do it. But the game does look pretty neat as well. So and yeah, they closed the show on Call of Duty, but I basically just left after that. So I saw this game as the last announcement. I'm like, all right, that's it. I don't give a fuck about Call of Duty. So.
Yeah, Clockwork Revolution. We have seen this game a few times, and every single time I am impressed by it. It does look like a very solid, like not necessarily like spiritual successor to BioShock, but something within that vein. And I think just like with 007 First Light, people are itching and wanting more single player action adventure games, and it doesn't have to be the same old open world story driven stuff that Sony has been pushing down our throats all these years. They can be these other genres like first person shooters and something akin to games from the Xbox 360 and PS3 era, just with better visuals, better loading times, better technology to use. So, just use it. And I think this one has the potential to be a Xbox seller. We'll see, because I think, making it a exclusive, I think is a choice. Is it the right choice? We'll see. Because I think, like we said earlier, making Xbox exclusive games now with this generation being so far in, especially with how expensive a fucking Xbox Series X console is, it's like, that's kind of insane. So, and PC parts are not that cheap either. So if you're someone that only has a PS5 and Switch, you're like, fuck, what do I do? You're kind of at like a crossroads in terms of like, do I want to buy another console, or do I want to buy a PC where I could also play all of these other games and maybe even future proof myself, depending on how much money you're spending, because fucking RAM and all these other PC parts are just so expensive. So but yeah, Clockwork Revolution looks pretty good, and I'm sure that when it does come out, we'll talk about it again. All right, so now let's talk about the new Nintendo Direct, the last part of the E3 sort of summer for 2026. And I mean, I feel like it's like every other year where Nintendo kind of just announces it and then it comes out a few days later. Nintendo has been doing these a lot longer than all of the other publishers, because it's like, well, you can just do a pre-recorded video and then just announce everything all at once. I think Summer Games Fest is the only one that's like actually live, which I will give Jeff Keighley credit for. But this Nintendo Direct, obviously, people were expecting some sauce as usual. New 3D Mario, any Smash Brothers announcements. We did get something Zelda related, which was Ocarina of Time Remake. But I think overall, just because of how much third-party stuff was in here, it was definitely a little bit more disappointing. But I think overall it was a okay presentation. Definitely not what people expected, but we did get new information and new details on some third-party games coming to the Switch 2, alongside games that we already knew about, such as Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave and several other titles.
Yeah. So, for me, there was a lot of things I liked in this Direct, right? Like, there's a lot of JRPGs. Obviously, I'm going to be pretty happy about it. But even me watching it, I'm like, oh, people are not going to be happy with this one. I think the Switch 2 really needed a Direct that was just full of like first party Nintendo games. I know I always make fun of these people too, but people like, oh, we need a Zelda, we need a Smash, we need Mario, all in one Direct. And I do feel like this Directs kind of need to be like that, because people have been kind of dogging on the Switch 2 in terms of like its games, even though I don't think that's like entirely fair. But I get it. This is the first Direct where I actually get the Nintendo fans that only play Mario and stuff. Like, I actually like do feel kind of bad, because I'm like, yeah, you guys ain't getting shit, and I'm so sorry. So yeah, I would also rate it as just like okay, even though I got a lot of things I'm extremely excited for, and I think a lot of games appeal to me. I could definitely see this being a big letdown for a ton of people. So, but I still enjoyed it for the most part. But
yeah, I think I theorized that Nintendo is definitely planning out like the first couple of months for the Switch 2, and they obviously released all of those projects so far, such as Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Bonanza, the Pokemon games, I should say, Pokopia and Legends EA. But people are still itching for a new Zelda game, a new 3D Mario game, even though the 3D Mario team was working on Donkey Kong Bonanza. That's not Mario. And they probably just weren't thinking about the E3 summer season like the other companies within the West, I guess. I mean, Sony is still a Japanese company, but they very much realize that a lot of their audience is Western players, and Nintendo probably just wasn't thinking about it that much, and they were like, well, we gotta do something here. And like I said, there was a lot of third-party support, which is great and awesome to see, especially to those people that maybe not have played a lot of these other games that were released on the other platforms a few years ago or whatever, such as Stellar Blade, Life of P, freaking goddamn Metaphor, ReFantazio. Like, we are getting a lot of third-party support on the Switch 2, which is great, and I think it will further bolster the lineup for people that only have a Switch 2. But I think overall, for people that are like us, that are just looking for the exclusive games and especially first-party titles, it was just not there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's cool to see, a lot of companies really support the Switch 2 in a big way because, they could do like day one releases now. I mean,
Hmm.
releasing like Onimusha day one, Capcom is supporting it in a big way. Square Enix is going to be supporting the Switch 2 in a big way. With all their big games coming out the same day as every other console, that's huge, right? Because with
Yeah.
the Switch 1, it was just too weak to be able to do that. So that is huge if the only platform you play on is Switch. But obviously, if I'm going to play those games, I'm going to get on PS5 or on PC, right? Like,
Yeah.
usually use my Switch for more indie stuff or for Nintendo exclusive stuff. So it's a big day if you were like just play on Switch and never played any of these games. But for the most part, yeah, it was kind of like a lot of ports.
All right,
Alrighty.
so let's just start chipping away. We'll start from the top. Rhythm Heaven Groove. This is a Nintendo Switch game that's going to be coming out very, very soon. A revival of the Rhythm Heaven series, a rhythm-based mini game series that I think a lot of people are looking forward to, especially if you played the previous titles, and even if you never did. I mean, there's so much stuff in here. There's like over 80 mini games, and then a bunch of other multiplayer stuff, which I think they've never done before. A multiplayer Rhythm Heaven sort of mode where you have, I believe it's like 30 to 40 game modes where you either play together or against each other. And I think this game will do moderately successful just because it is also available on the original Switch.
Yeah, no, this game actually looks really sick. I think Rhythm Heaven as a series is great. I mean, I love WarioWare, and it's basically like it's like brother like series, like very similar concept, except they're all like rhythm based mini games,
Yeah.
and just having like 80 all new mini games in there. You have like other game modes, like this like rhythm looking RPG mode in there. You have like
Hmm.
40 like co-op slash multiplayer game modes, which look really fun. Honestly, it looks like a full package for Rhythm Heaven, which is great. I know fans of this series wanted something forever because it's been years since the last one, and I'm glad they're putting it the all in this game. Like this looks like a full package for Rhythm Heaven, and I
Hmm.
will definitely be buying this because I was thinking is that at discounted price too. I think it's only like $50.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it definitely seems like a no brainer for me to like buy this because it looks great. I'm very excited for it. Alrighty, so as we were saying, a lot of ports after this point. That's what you mentioned. Onimusha. Well, one interesting thing about Dragon's Dogma 2 is they actually just announced a new DLC for that, just really casually. This wasn't announced anywhere else. Just, oh yeah, the Dark Arisen edition of Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming out, and they just treated it like no big deal. But people were waiting for that DLC, so I guess it's coming out October 9th, so that's cool. Next game that's finally getting a release date is Orbital. So we were both really
Yes.
excited for this game. This is basically that co-op sort of 80s based anime sort of puzzle platformer thing. It's finally coming out September 3rd, I believe. So it looks
Yes.
like they missed the summer a little bit because they said summer, but that's okay. And it looks great, man. Like the more I see about it, the more the art style really pops to me. Just everything about the presentation looks really good. I'm hoping the gameplay really, kind of matches that A Way Out or It Takes Two, start in that level, but we'll see because those games are like masterclass in that co-op sort of
Yeah.
gameplay. So hopefully this game could match that because the aesthetic is just amazing. So
Yeah, that is Joseph Ferris. His biggest contribution is having all of these other developers, whether indie or double/AAA developers, come in and be like, hey, why don't we make our own co-op required experience? And it seems like Orbitals is doing that as a Switch 2 exclusive. And it's definitely a much more higher end indie game because they are pricing it at, I believe, $40. And
yeah,
if you want the physical version, it is 50, but at least it's on the cart. That is
it
like a
is.
big thing. And on
Yeah.
top of that, you can do game share, whether it is online or locally. So you could share the game with someone else on the Switch console. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I definitely want to get a physical copy. I will gladly
Yeah.
pay that extra $10 just to have it sit nicely on my shelf.
Plus the box art looks really good too. So
Yes, just like everything else with this game, everything just looks visually pleasing.
yeah.
Pokopia. Pokopia is getting a
Yeah.
new update in August and also paid DLC with the season pass or the expansion pass, whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
It is $35. According to my girlfriend, she was like, God damn, it's
Yeah,
$35.
it's $35. So
But like, this is Pokemon we're talking about here. Pokemon fans will eat that up, especially considering that I think a lot of people that are still playing this game or are interested in it, they're probably getting a little tired of like the same old stuff that's in there. So just to get these new updates, new maps, new things to mess around with, I'm sure it's going to be worthwhile for them, especially since because they have content planned through next year.
yeah, I mean, it is, it's expensive. $35 for DLC is a lot, but at least it
Yes.
seems like you're getting three new things. It looks like it's coming in three waves. Like you have like this new like underwater town, and then you're gonna have like two other towns, I believe, and each town of Pocopia has like a lot of content. So I'm
Yeah.
sure it's going to be worth that money. I still need to go back to it and play it. It's just been so many games lately because I
Yeah.
do like it a lot. And for a lot of people, this is the best Switch 2 game that has come out. So
Hmm.
it's definitely worth paying attention to, especially if you like games like, like Minecraft or Animal Crossing, right? It's very similar to those type of games. So it gained more content is a kind of a no-brainer because of like how crazy it's sold. Like I think this is probably the best-selling Switch 2 game. Like it's pretty crazy. This game feel like it not came out of nowhere, but I didn't expect it to be the bestseller for Switch 2, which is maybe dumb of me because you're combining cozy game with Pokemon. Like that seems like just a
Yeah.
automatic home run. But yeah, people love it, and it's cool as game more content. So pretty cool announcement there. Next, we got another Nintendo announcement with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. So we finally got a release date, September 17th. And before I talk about the other stuff, because it's a bit of a downer, I
Yeah.
do think the game looks super great. Obviously it's like more of a sequel to Three Houses, which is cool. I think it takes place like fucking 100 years later or whatever.
Mhm.
But the gameplay itself looks really cool. Like I think the maps look a bit more interesting, as that was always a complaint I had with Three Houses. A lot of the map design was a bit flat. This one looks like you're like in the arena a lot, so like things are like changing around and stuff. The visuals look pretty nice. I believe that it looks like it was dungeons back from Fire Emblem Echoes. Like I saw your character running around getting chests and shit. So that's really cool. That was something that they only did in that one game. So that's cool if they're bringing that back. So yeah, the story looks interesting. The visuals look good. Just overall, very excited for it. The real downer is that it is going to be $70 digital, and on the Nintendo store is going to be $80 physical, which is really unfortunate. So this is going to be the second $80 video game, like I think like almost ever, and like that Nintendo is doing. So
Yeah.
I'm still not a fan of that, like at all. When Mario Kart, at least you had the excuses that, oh, you can just buy it with the console. And there you go, right? Because I don't think Mario Kart was worth 80. Like this barely any game is worth $80, like just flat out, right?
Yeah.
At least with this game, it is an RPG, so you are probably gonna get like at least 70 hours out of it. But still, it's just out of principle. It's pretty unfortunate. I keep checking Amazon to see if it's up because they were price matching with the digital version.
Mhm.
It's not up yet, so unfortunately, I can't check as of right now. But hopefully Amazon or Walmart could price match with the digital version like they did with Star Fox and Splatoon Raiders. Because yeah, $80 really sucks. So yeah.
Yeah, that price point is going to be a tough pill to swallow, especially for a lot of people. Considering me as someone who has not really played a Fire Emblem game since Fire Emblem on the 3DS, not Awakening. I think Echoes is like the last one that I like truly played. Maybe not even Echoes. Which one was it that came after Awakening before Echoes?
Conquest.
It was like Conquest and Birthright, right?
Fate. It's Fate. Fire Emblem Fates. Yeah.
Fire Emblem Fates. Yes, that was the last
Yeah.
one that I played, and I didn't even like fully finish it. I have the cartridge that has both versions on it, which is like fucking
Very rare.
expensive. Yes,
Yeah.
it is a very rare and expensive game, and I still want to go back and play that, and even play Fire Emblem Three Houses on the Switch. But the game itself, I mean, just watching it as someone who has not played a Fire Emblem game in a very long time, the production value is fucking insane. Like we have like actual cutscenes, we have characters moving when they're doing dialogue and stuff. Like
Yeah, the portraits move, so like holy shit.
yeah, like it's the little things that really count with this game because, it's been a sort of static RPG for like a while. And the fact that they're doing like these subtle changes to make it more lively and actually feel like a AAA experience, maybe you are getting your $80 worth there.
Yeah.
But, I think this game is going to be the best Fire Emblem game visually. I have no idea how the story is going to be or the gameplay or anything else. I mean, it looks like a Fire Emblem game. And yeah, the $80 price point is definitely going to sting for a lot of people. And hopefully that retailers like Amazon, Walmart could price match it to a certain extent. Obviously, not every retailer or every game store is going to do that. But yeah, $10 does go a long way because, you do that 7 times, that's another $70 game.
Exactly. And again, I'm more lenient because it is an RPG, so I know I'm going to get my money's worth. But
Mm-hmm.
still, man, yikes. Not a fan. So
Yeah.
anything you want to talk about before? Like, there's gonna be a lot of JRPGs. I'm gonna
Look,
talk
man,
about
look, I will talk about Xenoblade with you. Fuck it.
Okay.
All right. So, as someone who has not played any of the Xenoblade games, I'm actually kind of excited to see them release them as Switch 2 editions.
Yeah.
And Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Switch 2 edition is out now, and then they'll do the second one in July, and then the third one in December. So I like that they're kind of spreading it out, for like people that are waiting to buy them physically and to get everything onto the single cart. Obviously I'm not going to do that. I'm going to buy them as I go because I mean those RPGs are long as hell. But
Yeah.
the neat thing that they're doing is that every single game is going to have extra content. Like it's different for every single one, whether it's like new gameplay systems, new cutscenes. Obviously, the visuals are a lot better. It's going to be running at 1080p, 60 frames per second in handheld mode, which is crazy, by the way. And when you really think about it, with Xenoblade Chronicles, like as a series, it was never going to come to the West within North America because of the Wii and all of that other stuff. And then Project Rainfall happened. And now it's like one of the biggest Nintendo properties that we have in terms of like their RPG lineup. And that's so freaking cool.
Yeah. I think it's really good. This is kind of what I wanted for a while, ever since the Switch 2 came out, was Switch 1 editions for all these games, especially Xenoblade 2. I think Xenoblade 2 really needed the update, since that game is going to be like 10 years old next year, which is insane. But yeah, I think these games will really benefit from really having that 1080p, just crisp like frame rate. And I actually did buy the Xenoblade 1 Switch 2 edition before the podcast, just like see how it looks. And it looks great. I mean, there's some it's not like true a resolution boost. Like I think they do some like DLSS stuff, so some things could look a little blurry, but like it does run really well. And a Xenoblade 1 definitive edition definitely had like a really low resolution like anyway, so it stands out a lot more compared to the original Switch version, obviously, especially compared to the original Wii version, right? So
yeah,
I think it looks great. Xenoblade running at 60 frames is like crazy, since this series I don't think has ever really ran at 60 frames before. So it just looks really smooth. It plays really well. And you get new content, right? Like you get for Xenoblade 1, you get new voice heart to hearts, which are like you could like talk to your companions or whatever. And in Xenoblade 1, they were never voiced. So the fact that, and there's a lot of them, so the fact that they got all the voice actors from the original party to just voice all this extra stuff is like kind of fucking insane to me. And they did like phone it in. Everyone's been sharing it on Twitter. I'm like, wow, that's crazy that they got all these voice actors to come back for that. That's really cool. And they also added like Super Xeno Kart. Like they give you like a little scooter, and there's like you could do races and stuff. It's so stupid. I don't know why they did that, but it's really funny. So that's cool. And then Xenoblade 2, like I said, that's going to add a ton of improvements to that game as well, since that game like I think it was like sub 480p on handheld mode on the original Switch version. So it's going to be cool to really get a 1080p boost for that game, plus the the frame boost as well.
Yeah.
That Xenoblade 2 really need that the most. And you get extra content, which is like adding like a new rare blade. You could play as a blade, which is crazy, which are basically like your personas in that game. So that's really cool. Xenoblade 3 is adding the same thing, they're adding like a new game mode and like a new hero. So yeah, it's really cool they're adding like the extra content. They didn't really have to do that, but I'm glad they are. And actually I totally forgot I didn't own Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition physically, because that was during COVID, and like I think it was like, oh, you'll get this game in like 2 weeks if you get physical through Amazon. I'm like, fuck that, and I didn't want to go outside because it's COVID. So
Yeah.
I bought it digitally. So that gives me an excuse to actually like buy it physically just for my collections. That'll be neat. But yeah, really cool stuff. This is exactly what I wanted from the Xenoblade series. If you're looking to jump in now, I think it'll be a good time with all these extra enhancements and stuff. It kind of sucks. I don't think they come with the extra DLCs and stuff besides the first game. Like because there's like extra expansions and stuff that it should come with it. But either way, cool package. I love it. They're like $70 each, I think. So they're expensive, but I think they are worth it. Okay, so like Xenoblade Genesis. So yeah, this is the new Xenoblade game.
Yeah.
It's coming out 2027. It looks great. There's been rumors for a long time that Monolith were making like a medieval RPG, and a lot of people thought it was going to be like a new IP, like not Xenoblade related, since Xenoblade 3 kind of like wrapped up that whole storyline. But no, it ended up being Xenoblade. They dropped the Chronicles, and now it's Genesis, and that's really cool. I don't know if it's like a prequel or a sequel. It's very fantasy, which is something Xenoblade doesn't really do very often. It's more sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
I just know that since it is called Xenoblade and not a new IP, it's going to tie in some way. There's already like a lot of like imagery that's very similar to Xenoblade to begin with, but it's cool to like just have just a brand new world, like just with more fantasy elements, like there's dragons and shit, and like ride like a mount. I think it really adds, like it really makes this game sit apart from the original trilogy, and I think that's cool. Just how like Xenoblade X felt very distinct by itself, it's cool that this Xenoblade feels like it's going to be like kind of its own thing while still probably connecting to the overall Xenoblade like continuity. Like there's probably going to be some sci-fi shit, probably a giant mech is going to show up at some point because these games love their giant mechs. But yeah, either way, I'm very excited. It looks really cool. Female protagonist too, which I don't think has happened since like Xenosaga, so that's really cool as well. I think we were due for that. I think Xenoblade X should have had Elma as the main protagonist, but she wasn't, so whatever. But yeah, game looks great, coming out next year. I'm fucked. There's so many JRPGs next year, man. There's so many. They're all like over 100 hours long. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna balance that, but I'll find a way. But yeah, this was definitely like the star of the show for me in terms of the direct, because I'm a fucking Xenoblade fan. Of course it is, and we always eat good. So yeah, very cool.
Meanwhile, the rest of the Nintendo fan base hates everyone.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, before I move on, Muramasa the Demon Blade is getting a enhanced edition with Muramasa Revenant Blade. So this game is cool because this was a game made by Vanilla Soft, and this game was on the Wii. And I remember as a kid, so many people back in the day were like, "Oh, Muramasa the Demon Blade, so good." Like I remember like Aunt Dude all the way back in the day always saying that shit. And as a kid, I always wanted it because it looked cool. Like the art style looked really neat. It's like this like 2D action RPG, and I could never find it. It was super fucking rare because I guess like they didn't make a ton of them. And the only time they re-released it was on Vita. And like no one had a fucking Vita either. So it's really cool to have like a fully enhanced edition. I think there's like a bunch of new content in here. I love Vanillaware now. I played 13 Sentinels a few years ago, and that game was very close to just being my game of the year that year. Just extremely good game. I haven't played Unicorn Overlord yet. I have it on PS5 somewhere. But yeah, I would like to go back and play Muramasa and Dragon's Crowns as well. Like their art style is just unmatched. Just beautiful 2D art, just great RPG mechanics as well. So really cool that this game I think it's on Switch 1 as well. I'm not too sure, but it's going to be on Switch 1, Switch 2, and everything else coming out next year. So very cool.
Yes. I guess we'll talk about Splatoon Raiders before you dive back into your RPG fiasco.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good, bro.
It's the only thing in this direct, right? I'm sorry.
So yeah, Splatoon Raiders. Obviously, this is the upcoming Splatoon spinoff. It is still scheduled to release on July 23rd. There's going to be a Splatoon Raiders Direct on June 30th. They showed a little bit of gameplay, and I'm still confused in terms of what we're doing. It is described as like a looter game. You're kind of just going around to like various points of the island. You fight enemies, you loot stuff, you level up. I have no idea what this game is. It could be a roguelite. It could be just a looter game like in general, just for funsies, and just have the Splatoon mechanics of the shooting. But either way, I'm going to be playing it. I really love Splatoon, even though I didn't buy Splatoon 3 when it came out, and the online is like the main aspect that I play Splatoon 4. I think that this game is going to be a nice little spin-off and a little bit of a holdover before they give us Splatoon 4, which I'm sure whenever that happens, it'll hopefully have a much bigger leap between Splatoon 2 to 3.
Yeah, see, I'm a weirdo. Like, obviously, I love Splatoon multiplayer because like that's kind of the main point. But I'm such a freak because I love the single player in Splatoon. Like, there's a point of me that I'm like, I think I like it more than the multiplayer. Just from the start of Splatoon 1, like that shit was always super fun. And as the DLCs went on, like Octo expansion, I think is like just so good, like so great. It's really hard, but very fulfilling, just fun levels. Side Order, which was the DLC for Splatoon 3, that was the roguelite mode, and that was really fun as well. I put a lot of time into that. Even just the base campaigns for 2 and 3 were also a ton of fun. So them just making a full single player spinoff, I'm very intrigued to see what they could do, since they're not really bound to like balance or whatever. I do wonder how crazy they could really get with this. But like you said, I'm not too sure what the game really is either. I don't think it's a roguelike, but I think it's more like you just find a bunch of treasure and kind of just explore around and stuff. But I don't really know what the point of that is besides like just doing it.
Yeah.
But there is going to be a direct on June 30th to probably explain more about what the game actually is. So that's pretty exciting. There's also going to be like a Splatfest in Splatoon 3 as well. That's like Raiders theme, which is also pretty neat. But yeah, I'm still really excited for Splatoon Raiders. I love my Splatoon single player content, and I can't wait to play more of it. And it's cool to see more of the Splatoon cast do more stuff like from Splatoon 3, because I feel like they didn't really do much in the base campaign. So it's going to be cool to see them actually like do stuff in their own adventures. So yeah, Splatoon Raiders looks really good. Alrighty, so back to JRPG land, Final Fantasy Resonance. So this came out of nowhere, just coming out October 22nd, so very soon. And another game in like that fall area, so that's very fun. But basically, this is a sort of like reimagining of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, which was a gacha mobile game that people liked quite a bit, but got shut down a few years ago. So Square Enix did this before with Octopath Zero. That was also a gacha mobile game that got shut down, but they sort of like remade it as a actual console game. And you know what? That's great. Like I think a lot of people actually do like these games as games, right? Like, and if you take away the gacha element, all the bullshit mobile stuff, it's like, wow, this game is actually good. And it is. And yeah, from the gameplay, IGN did like a 10-minute video on it, and it looks really cool. It's basically just a standard turn-based Final Fantasy game in HD 2D, but the gameplay sort of has like I don't know how to describe it. Like basically have like personas or whatever.
Hmm.
It's like Fire Emblem Engage, right? Like where you could like combine with different past Final Fantasy characters. They give you their abilities, you do their shit, and you just go through a Final Fantasy adventure, right? It just looks good. I just from the gameplay I saw is really cool, seeing all these references and stuff. Definitely I'm down for that. I think the HD 2D art style, I still personally like. Some people are like, oh, I'm getting sick of it or whatever. I don't know. I think it still looks good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. This came out of fucking nowhere, but I think it looks really neat. And I hope to do something like this with the Nier mobile game, because the Nier mobile game I heard was also very good, but you also can't fucking play that anymore because they shut it down. And I feel that that's super fucking annoying and like anti-art, and I really don't like it. People put a lot of effort into these mobile games, even if you don't agree. I think the monetization be damned. Like just as a game, you should be able to play it somewhere. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that they are starting to port them on to be like actual video games. So hopefully do that for Nier, because I had to do like this trend Square Enix is doing, which is very rare for me to say. But yeah, I think Square Enix is doing really good with that business practice there. So good on them.
Yeah, I mean, just like as an outsider, I still really like the HD 2D art style because I think it looks really charming and honestly just like visually pleasing. It's definitely a lot different from, I guess, like the photorealistic stuff that we're kind of used to. It kind of blends that in the best of both worlds by having the pixel art style really shine, but also have the environments be the traditional 3D that we know and love.
Yeah. Alrighty.
All right. You want to talk about Deltarune?
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, Deltarune Chapter 5 is coming out June 24th. Yeah, June 24th. And yeah, it looks great as well. Free update. You know, if you bought Deltarune on anything, you will just get the rest of the episodes for free. Obviously, I think the price will go up as the more chapters come out. But yeah, dude, I mean, I'm excited for this as well. Like Deltarune chapters 1 through 4. Like I played them recently when the Switch 2 edition came out, and it's just so good. Like I think Toby Fox did such a good job really improving a lot of the issues I had with Undertale. And Undertale is right, like one of my favorite indie games as well. But like I think the story, the characters, the gameplay, you know, actually having some RPG like mechanics in there, like
Mhm.
it's great. Like I think Deltarune has been definitely like his like magnum opus, and I'm happy to see like where he goes with the rest of the chapters. So chapter 5 looks great. Very excited for that. It comes out very soon. I love when games they announce they come out and then they just fucking come out like immediately, right? Like that always
Yeah.
makes me very excited. Like shadow drops are one thing, but at least having it like just like, oh, it's in the same month. That's crazy. So yeah, very excited for Deltarune chapter 5. We'll definitely talk about that when I play it. So yeah.
Yeah, it is very cool to see him continue to make these chapters. Obviously, I think people know that he's going to continue making them, but just a matter of when they come out. And you know, he just announces it when they're done, and people are excited for them.
Yep.
The Kingdom Hearts collection, you know, they just keep re-releasing these goddamn games over and
Yeah.
over again. And we got a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 4 gameplay, which is very, very cool just because Kingdom Hearts fans are starving. But the Kingdom Hearts collection, it is a brand new collection of games for the Switch 2 and also PlayStation 5. These are not cloud versions, just like the previous Nintendo Switch release. These will only be on the Nintendo Switch 2. It will release on October 8th. Like I said, PS5 version is also available. If you have saves from the cloud version, they will transfer. The cloud versions will delist, I think, like a year or so from now. And then
Yeah.
owners that have those cloud versions, they can get the Switch 2 versions at a discounted price. You know, when I first saw that, I was like, yeah, you know, cloud gaming definitely sucks. And there's a reason why it sucks, because when you make a better version of it, it's like, well, we're not going to support the one that requires us to keep server maintenance going, kind of thing. And on top of that, you know, you're not getting it for free. Obviously, you're getting it at a discount. I don't think we know exactly how much you're going to be getting it at for. If
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
don't know. Yeah.
if it's like $20, I'm gonna be like a little like skeptical about it, because I'm like, why don't you just give them for like $10? I think that that'd be like a very nice price, nice deal for them, because Kingdom Hearts is re-release everywhere. Like it's on nearly every single platform. Obviously, if you want the nice shiny versions of it on the Switch 2 and the PS5, sure, but you know, I don't think you really need to be charging them that much money.
Yeah. Plus, you know, I don't know if the upgrades are really worth it for the other platform. Well, I guess just PS5 and PC. I
Mhm.
think Kingdom Hearts 3 might get a pretty big boost, because I think that was still stuck at 30 frames. And I don't know if this version's like upping it to like 60. I'm not too sure. since that was a PS4 release. But
Hmm.
I guess we'll see when it actually does come out, or at least when Square puts more information, because I'm not too sure. But in
Hmm.
terms of the Switch 2 stuff, yeah, like I think cloud gaming, it like works if it's like as a service for like GeForce Now or something, but that's like you're not buying the fucking game as a cloud version,
Yeah.
right? Like it uses your library, and then like NVIDIA, like you just like kind of launch it through there. And I think that that's fine if you're paying for that service. I use it a lot, and I do think it is good with good internet. But just buying straight up a cloud version of one game always sounded really weird. And I just felt like there was better ways to play Kingdom Hearts that wasn't like on there, right? But now it
Yeah.
looks like you can. So getting every single Kingdom Hearts game plus Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remine, it's DLC, all in one package. I think that's pretty good. They should have gotten it for free. You bought the cloud version, you should have gotten it for fucking free. But
Yeah.
whatever. This is Square Enix. They didn't even do an upgrade path or transfer saves for the Dragon Quest 11 Switch 2 edition. So I'm glad that they're doing it for Kingdom Hearts at least, but still really weird. But I'm glad Kingdom Hearts fans finally got something. And showing Kingdom Hearts 4 gameplay in a fucking Nintendo Direct was not on my bingo sheet. I feel like Sony really got cucked here. They didn't get Final Fantasy 7 or Kingdom Hearts. It looks like Square has been really supporting Nintendo in a big way. Like they really want the IPs to be on everything again, especially Nintendo. So
Hmm.
it's cool to see them supporting it on a big way. Since for that Kingdom Heart 4 teaser, I also said it would be launching the same day on Switch 2. So that's a crazy statement to make. Still no release date, which is unfortunate, but Kingdom Hearts 4 is still on the way. Really cool to see it fucking alive at some point. So yeah, really cool.
Yeah, definitely need to see it be launching on the Switch 2 same day as with everything, because I still think we see today with like PS5 and like Xbox Series console releases where it's like, yeah, the Switch 2 version will come out like months later. And to us that own everything, PC, a PlayStation, and a Switch, it's like, well, if I want to play it now, I'm going to get it on one of those other platforms. And then you're not going to see the sales for the Switch 2 version. Obviously, you're going to have that portability aspect if you travel a lot. But I think for a lot of people, they're just going to have their Switch at home, just sitting on the dock, and they'll just pick whichever version is much more convenient for them at that time.
Yep. Alrighty. So last announcement is something a lot of people already knew about, but the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake is happening. It
Mm-hmm.
will be coming out this year, but no gameplay. All we really saw
Yes.
was the Deku Tree talking, Link sleeping, and that's it. And that was the end of the show. I mean, like, there's nothing I can really say about this because I didn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I already knew it was happening. I mean, it's cool, I guess. Obviously, I didn't expect a full blown new Zelda game to be releasing like now, because I feel like Tears of the Kingdom is still only 3 years old at this point, and I wouldn't expect another. Like maybe next year we'll start seeing a new Zelda game be developed, or they'll show it, and then the year after that they'll release it. But yeah, why they didn't show gameplay is very confusing to me, especially if it's
Yeah.
releasing this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, especially because the next direct would probably be September. I believe that's the last direct they usually do. So that means it would have to come out in November at that point, if they're going to make any release date, or December, I guess. But yeah, in terms of just having another Ocarina of Time remake, obviously we had Zelda or Ocarina of Time on 3DS,
Yeah.
and we're getting another one. I don't really know what else it could do besides make it very pretty. And I mean, I like Ocarina of Time. I think it'd be a good way to experience it, but it's one of those games like, does it need a remake again? I don't know. It's weird, right? They said it was Star Fox. We've already had
Yeah.
Star Fox 3D, and we're getting another Star Fox remake as well. So I'm just gonna see it as a cool thing. I mean, I like Ocarina of Time enough, and it'd be cool to play it again. But yeah, it'll be better if we saw a fucking gameplay of this thing instead.
Yes, it is a very interesting and strange move for Nintendo to formally announce that, yes, we do have a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. Here it is, and no gameplay, nothing. And I think they're just teasing us. They're just keeping fans on the hook a little bit because they know that they can, because it's Nintendo, and this is also Ocarina of Time. This is one of the greatest games of all time for some people. This is some of their favorite game of all time. And them remaking it again for the latest Nintendo console, obviously it's going to work. They're probably going to charge $80 for it, and no one's going to bat an eye.
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
charge $70 for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, people were making a fuss about it, but people still bought it at launch. I was one of those people that kind of waited because I know that I'm not the biggest 3D Zelda guy, and I'm not going to play it as soon as I get it. And with this one, obviously, I've tried to jump into Ocarina of Time here and there, especially on the original N64. And obviously, my dumb man brain, I'm just like, I don't know, it's like too old. It's too archaic. I can't really like super duper get into it. I did try Majora's Mask on the 3DS when that came out, and I was having a good time with it, but the whole day and night system and like the days, I was just getting confused. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? But
Right.
anyways, with this new Ocarina of Time remake, it is weird for them to show no gameplay. It is nice of them to tell us, I guess it is coming out later this year. Will they dodge GTA 6? Do they even give a fuck about GTA 6? I have no idea. It would be very funny if they do release it in November and close to that release date, because I think a lot of people that are Zelda fans, Nintendo fans in general, they're probably not looking at GTA 6 the same way as like the general audiences are. So they might be like, well, we could probably still rake in like a few million because the audiences are so split. And obviously there's going to be that crossover between people like us and some other people that are like really into video games. But, we'll see when it comes out. Like you said, the next Nintendo Direct will probably show everything this game has to offer. And then if they want to, they could do their own Zelda Ocarina of Time Direct. But, another Zelda game getting a remake, and it is Ocarina of Time once again. Sure, go for it.
Yeah. So yeah, the Direct, like we said in the beginning, it really did lack a lot of first-party Nintendo games. Like, we didn't even talk about Nintendo Switch Resort when they spent like 4 minutes like thumb wrestling, which was really stupid.
Yeah.
And like, who cares? Like, I just don't care about that game. Like, it definitely did needed more Nintendo first-party stuff. And usually I'm not like that. Usually I'm like, if this was Direct any other time, I would be like, yeah, this is great. But I actually do get the sentiment that like, yeah, we kind of do need more heavy hitters, whether that be a 3D Mario or Smash or whatever. But also, like I said before, like the 3D Mario team was making Bonanza, so I don't know how they would have time to make a 3D Mario. Sakurai just finished Air Riders, so I don't know where the fuck you would find the time to do a Smash game. So yeah, a lot of the teams just seemed like very disproportionate. Like, they were doing other things besides the things people expected from them, which is fine, and I'm okay with that. But I know a lot of people are not okay with that. So yeah, it definitely was a bit of a weaker showing than I was expecting. Again, I'm personally happy, but I definitely get why people would not be super thrilled about this Direct at all. So yeah.
Yeah, this Nintendo Direct definitely had a much more Nintendo partner showcase vibe to it, just because of how many third-party games were here, whether they were announced this past week or games that we've seen on the other consoles for a while now. But look, it is nice to see that other companies are diving into the Nintendo Switch 2 and exploring what player base is there, if at all. Obviously, Nintendo doesn't have a lot to show, just because I think they are a company that really likes to show things when they're ready. And if they're not ready, they're not going to show them. Something like, the next Elder Scrolls game. We know it's happening. When will it happen? I don't fucking know. But they announced it. And I think these things like a new 3D Mario, a new Smash Brothers game, a new 3D Zelda game, though, we're going to get those eventually. When will they happen? Nintendo will tell us. And when it does happen, people will get excited, and that hype will continue on until it comes out, because Nintendo is very good about not delaying stuff. I think the only real IP that really has a troubling development is mainly Metroid, and unfortunately that series doesn't really do that well to begin with. But when it comes to, like I said, the big hitters like Mario, Zelda, and Smash Brothers, those show us when they're ready. And, like you said, Sakurai was working on Kirby Air Riders. Now he may be working on it. And then the 3D Mario team was working on Bonanza. Now they're probably making their way through a new Mario game. But, I just wish we saw some gameplay. It is kind of crazy that, they went from Kingdom Hearts 4 into Ocarina of Time Remake and then no gameplay. So I think that's why a lot of people were kind of butthurt about it also, because I think if they showed like even like 5 seconds of gameplay of you just walking through town, or like the sort of open lands with Epona or something like that, people would have been excited. So it is what it is. Like I said earlier, I think Nintendo were just not prepared to have a Direct ready for this summer E3 season, and this is just what they had, and it is what it is. I'm sure when we do see the next Nintendo Direct, we'll get some heavy hitters, and then if not, just let them cook, because these Nintendo fans, we're complaining right now, but when the games come out, we will be there.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. I like when I buy a Nintendo console, I know there's gonna be good games on it at some point.
Yeah.
I think the Switch had a launch as good as it did because the Wii U was fucking dog shit. So
Hmm.
they had to come out the gate swinging with a Zelda and Mario like the same year, right?
Hmm.
Would it be cool if Switch 2 had that moment? Yeah. And I kind of was expecting this E3 to be that moment. I think, that's kind of on me for being a little too high on expectations. But
Yeah.
again, I always win because I like JRPGs. So, I got the thing I really wanted was a new Monolith game, which ended up being a new Xenoblade game. So I always win. So sorry guys. And, life is really easy when you like Kirby and like JRPGs because they get a new game like every other year. So it feels
Yeah.
good, man. So
But yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add, good sir?
no, that's about everything.
All right. So thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 190. We will see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
See ya.